basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to give your home a refresh. At Dan's Fan City in Harbison, we're celebrating spring cleaning with amazing deals on floor samples, closeouts, and overstocks. Whether you're looking to upgrade your ceiling fans or add a new one to your space, Dan's Fan City has you covered. Stop by our store or give us a call at 781-FANS to take advantage of these fantastic offers. Don't miss out on the chance to save big and elevate your home's comfort and style with Dan's Fan City on Harbison Boulevard.
Life matters. A friend of mine is a competitive shooter. He explained to me once that he keeps his pistol ammo magazines empty because they're spring-fed. What he was saying is that if he keeps the magazines loaded with ammo for too long, the spring will take a set and not feed properly into the chamber. In other words, the spring can't stay in that tense position indefinitely without losing its elasticity. You know, most of us are like that too. If we don't get out from under the pressure of life every now and then, we lose our effectiveness just like that magazine. Jesus once told his disciples to come apart and rest for a while. Upon reading that verse, my pastor said, if we don't learn to come apart for a while, we may simply come apart. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty reminding you that life matters, and so do you.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, halftime show. I almost said post-game show. Halftime show. Terry Ford going to hang here and just yip with you till Tyler gets here between 12:30 and 1 as he's coming back from the golf tournament there at Wood Creek, the Colonial Life. The first of hopefully many annual from the Korn Ferry Tour. Tyler on his way back. He'll jump in here. Doug Turnbull will be with Tyler at 1:30, 2:15. Our buddy Dimitri Ravenos from Awful Announcing will also hop in with Tyler. And, well, like I said, we'll cook this thing noon to 1 until Tyler gets back. All right, so, look, there's a 3-game series starting tonight in Nashville, South Carolina, Vandy. And I know for a good bit of the fan base, they don't care. They just don't. They want this season to end, and then the process of finding a new head coach starts. I mean, it's already started. And look, we all know how this goes. If you follow sports, there's back channel conversations, things of that nature with, people. You can't directly talk to people, but you can talk to those people's people, and then they can pass word to that person and then back with you and things of that nature. So I'm sure the back channel conversations, in alleys and garages and basements and all that stuff is already happening. But that will be the for real public start of the search for the new baseball coach at South Carolina. And we'll see where all that goes. I thought Jamie Bradford from On 3 put up an interesting post about what to look for in a head coach. And I thought it was good stuff, discussing, what needs to happen here. Because, again, the last 2 hires, one underwhelming, one a disaster. And now you just got to get it right. Because this program will be whole again when you hire the right person. That's that's the cure of what ails South Carolina baseball is you haven't had the right guy in the head coach's office. Look, Mark Kingston was okay, but at South Carolina, you want better than okay. I mean, Mark is in a lot of places what Mark achieved here at South Carolina, they would love it. They might name a road after him. But here, it's like, you've been to a couple supers and you've made the postseason, but we like Omaha here. And you're not the guy to get us to Omaha. We got to go find the Omaha guy. But, again, Coach Kingston's having a nice year at Creighton. I mean, he's a good coach. You can be a good coach. You're just not the right coach for here. You're a right coach for other places, but you're just not the right coach for here. So you got to go and you got to get a guy who is going to get you where you know you should be, at least occasionally, and that's at the College World Series. And so, some way, shape, or form, the decision-making process, no matter where it started or who it was targeted to, ended up at the end of the day on Paul Mainieri, which became an unbelievable, full-blown Michael Bay disaster movie. Just did. And now the program has sunk to historic lows, but it just needs the right guy. The right hire fixes this. Won't fix it in 1 year, most likely. Probably take a couple, but the right guy will fix this because it's all there. The operational budget's top 10 in the country. The fan base is rabid. They love baseball here. The facilities, still nice. Might not be shiny new, best in the SEC, but still nice. Could use, some upgrades, but still, Founders is a thumbs up when it comes to a facility. All the pieces are here for South Carolina to get back where they used to be and they should be. You just got to get the right guy. It's that simple. Basically that simple. And, again, Jamie brought up some interesting points. Some things that have kind of strayed away. I mean, in-state recruiting. You got to own your backyard. No matter if you are, and I'll use football references here. I don't care if you're Florida, where everywhere you look, there's a 4-star high school football talent, or if you're, and I'm using football, in Boise, Idaho, where they might have 4 in the whole state. You got to own your backyard. You can't miss on everybody, or you can't not care and say, we'll just go get guys from here, there, and here. That's not the way this works. You still need to protect your backyard. The players that are worth playing at your university ability-wise, you got from your backyard. You just got to get them, flat out. So that's got to get back. And again, reading the post yesterday by Jamie, and reading that Paul Mainieri moved Monty Lee out of the lead recruiting role and put Terry Rooney in, and I said this to Jay yesterday, look, you can say what you want about Monty Lee. You can like him as a coach. You can not like him as a head coach. You can like him as a hitting instructor. You can not like him as a hitting instructor. The one thing I think most folks can agree with is Monty Lee is a really good recruiter. So you took a guy who's a really good recruiter, who knows the state, who's got connections, got relationships. You moved him aside for a guy who wouldn't know Camden, South Carolina from Camden, New Jersey. Really? I mean, forget scratching your head. That's not just a head scratcher. That's a body scratching decision. But you got to get that back. You got to get yourself back recruiting the state, because there are good ball players, and following the Gamecocks, there have been some homegrown players coming from South Carolina high schools who have had excellent careers as Gamecocks. You got to get that done. I know this. Does this equate to wins and losses? Probably not directly, but you got a great tradition here. You got to play on that. You do. You just have to play on tradition. It might not be as much of a hammer as it used to be in our NIL transfer portal world, but again, you've got to, guys who put that jersey on to run on that field have to understand the tradition of this baseball program and what it means. Not just to the fans, to the athletic department, but to the former players. former coaches, community. It matters. And you got to understand, when you're putting that on, you are representing all those years of history and tradition. And if you don't want that smoke, fine. Kick rocks and go somewhere else and play. But you've got to value and honor the tradition of what you're about to go do here. You just do. It's like anything. It's like, again, Duke basketball. Heck, South Carolina women's basketball, UConn women's basketball, Ohio State football. You got to understand this matters. There's a lot of trips to Omaha, national championships, a lot of successful seasons, a lot of great players, a lot of guys who ran around Major League Baseball. You got to understand in that clubhouse when you're putting on that gear what it means and what it's meant for a few generations. And I think Jamie nailed that too. Me, again, in a perfect world, I would like to see someone who knows how to coach in today's climate and has been to Omaha. That's the perfect one for me. But if you have someone who is very successful and who has been on the cusp of Omaha, has gotten to a super or two, or maybe just is someone who has taken a program that was just sitting dead in the water and reinvigorated it, and now it's really good, you want to put those folks in the mix as well, that's fine. I think you should get someone, though, who has coaching experience. And if you are going to go get someone who hasn't been to Omaha, you got to get someone who has gotten close. Like, again, and this is not to pick on anyone. Look, again, Mark Kingston was a good coach. He was a good coach at South Florida. A good coach in his career wherever he's been. But nothing in his resume screamed next up-and-coming, hot-shot, high-level head coach. He'd been to the postseason 3 times. Never advanced to a super. Record was solid, but you didn't go, wow. There weren't a lot of people knocking on Mark's door to come take over their power conference program. Look, I talked to a bunch of people who were here during that time, and it was a head-scratching hire. But if you're going to go the route of the guy who hasn't been to Omaha or the guy that hasn't been close to Omaha yet, you got to find someone who's turned around something, like big time. Like Dan Fitzgerald. Would I hire Dan Fitzgerald? Probably not. Because I just think, he is still in his infancy, so to speak, as a head coach. He's done a heck of a job at Kansas. Don't get me wrong. But for what South Carolina needs right now, I don't think that's the fit. Now, again, Dan Fitzgerald could blow away Jeremiah Donati. Everybody could run to Donati's office saying, this is the guy you got to hire, this is the guy you got to hire. Donati could interview Dan Fitzgerald and just be tingly. Oh, my God. And this could be the guy, and he could be wildly successful here because what he's done at Kansas is wow. Maybe this year they do go deep in the tournament because they got a good team. But at the end of the day, right now, as you see the resume, I just think you need someone with a little bit more beefier resume. I think the least amount of miss percentage is what you're looking for here. You want someone who you feel really good about in managing and coaching in today's world. Biggest problem with Coach Maneri, he was out 3 years, might as well have been 300 years. Did not understand today's player, did not understand dealing with the portal, with NIL, all those things that weren't as in your face 3 years ago are now in your face. And because guys have the option to transfer, the old school way of managing and coaching, you got to tweak that. Because the guy can go, you know what, dude, screw you, I'm hitting the portal. I need to deal with this. So you've got to learn how to lead and guide and coach and mentor and correct and push in a different way. You just do. You can like it, you can not like it, but that's the reality we live in. And, Mainieri just couldn't handle it. So, the guy had the resume. That's why I say hire someone who is successful today in dealing with today's player in today's climate. That's what you need. Because, again, some guys who are coaching in the old system can't or don't want to change. You got to. That's just reality. So really good stuff from Jamie Bradford. It's on 3, the Gamecock Central Big Spur site. It is, I believe, behind the paywall. But it's really good stuff. And Jamie makes some really good points. And we'll see where this whole thing goes. Again, starting tonight, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch from Nashville, South Carolina. And Vandy's got to do some damage. They're right sitting there on the bubble of do they get in the NCAA tournament or not. Very young team. So it's in their best interest to lay the wood on South Carolina this weekend and then win some in Hoover. So Vandy's got a lot to play for. Again, 6:45, our coverage starts here in Columbia and in Myrtle Beach. We'll pop back. What happened last night in sports? About last night, he has some stuff. He has some playoff stuff in the NBA and NHL and some other notes from the sports world. We'll get into it next. Terry Ford hanging until Tyler gets here. David Dare's always here, punching the buttons. We go till 1, and then Tyler's back here on the halftime show on the Game Network, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
It is Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for over 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and it is that history, those 30 years, that is your assurance that their professionals will get the job done for you, and not only that, but they'll get the job done in a safe, pleasing, and timely manner for you and your operation, whether it's your home or your business. Mid-State Roofing is there to make sure that they keep your operation dry and running long into the future. But most importantly, they are there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You heard that right. You can give them a phone call at 10 p.m., midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You get the point. Mid-State Roofing has got an on-call technician ready to receive your phone call, help you with a maintenance contract or any roof leakage that you have. So give them a phone call, 803-356-1919, and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Songbird Festival is coming to Finley Park on Saturday and Sunday, May 30th and 31st, with 2 days of bluegrass, Americana, and Southern roots music in the heart of downtown Columbia. Catch Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, the infamous String Dusters, Future Birds, Blue Dogs, and the Bee Rights, featuring Mark Bryant and Sony Sonnenfeld of Hootie and the Blowfish. Songbird 26 also features local and regional favorites across 2 stages, plus food, drinks, and a full weekend of music in Finley Park. Get your tickets now at songbirdcola.com.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
Rhino Shield is backed by an extraordinary 25-year warranty with special financing available available.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
Call now, 833-RHINO-99 for your 15% off. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances, and Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Take the lead here, the 8th. Yastrzemski, right center. That ball is down. Harris is home. Here comes Kim. He is out, but the Braves grab the lead.
That was last night. Mike Yastrzemski comes off the bench. Pinch hit knock. Gives Atlanta a 2-1 lead. And then to put the game out of reach, hitting leadoff, Mauricio Dubon with a home run. And Atlanta's up 4-1, and they cruise on to the victory. Braves used a ton of pitchers. J.R. Ritchie started it, went 4 1/3, only gave up a run, did walk 3. And then the parade of 5 relievers shut it down. I will say this. Right now, the back end of the bullpen with Robert Suarez and Raciel Iglesias, pretty formidable at this point. I mean, Iglesias haven't given an earned run all year, and Suarez ERA is only .50. So again, high leverage back end of the bullpen for Atlanta has been really good. Everything about Atlanta's been really good. You know, Drake Baldwin went yard last night, 11 home runs for Baldwin. His OPS is around 900. So Baldwin has had a heck of a start. Matt Olson's such a weird hitter. When Matt Olson is on, Matt Olson is lethal. But then Matt Olson goes through stretches that sometimes last a good part of a season where Olson's chasing and he's not on, and his numbers go down. This year, the good Matt Olson has shown up. He's slugging almost 640, on base percentage about 375, batting average just a tick under 300. The OPS is over 1,000. Matt Olson's cooking. Once you can get Ronald Acuna Jr. back, you can maybe get Austin Riley back to the 2023 version of Austin Riley. That's a good thing. Right now, Michael Harris is hitting. Thing with Michael Harris, sometimes the plate discipline gets a little crazy, and Michael Harris thinks the strike zone is anything that's thrown to home plate. But right now, Michael Harris, 311 on the year, slugging over 500. The Braves are just cooking. The starting pitching's been really good. The pitching staff as a whole has been among the best in baseball. That's why the Braves are the first team to 30 wins. And again, do I think they're going to continue at this torrid pace? No, it's baseball. You'll go through weeks where you can't get out of your own way, but Man, the Braves, I don't think this is going to be one of those deals where they just start off hot and then hit a huge funk. This is a talented team. A lot of guys are still in the prime of their careers. Last year was just every now and then, I say it all the time, every now and then the baseball gods decide to take a squat on you. Wedgie you, poke you in the eyes, catfish you on social media. I mean, just every now and then, the baseball gods just say, you know what, we haven't done in a while, what? We haven't messed with the Braves. Let's go. And that's what 2025 was. This is a good baseball team. And they've been lights out this whole season. So, a 4-1 win over the Cubs. By the way, the Cubs are playing really good baseball, too. But the Braves get that win at home. Won the first 2 games of the series against the Chicago Cubs. And again, starting pitching and timely hitting, man. Got it going last night for Atlanta. Tonight, for the Braves, they will, here we go. They're only throwing Chris Sale and his 2.20 ERA. Now, the Cubs are countering with Ben Brown, and Ben Brown this year has been good. Really good. 1.82 ERA, his whip's under 1. Striking out a little bit less than a hitter an inning, doesn't walk many dudes. Ben Brown's had a really nice year. His ERA and whip are better than Chris Sale's. So you know what's going to happen tonight. Yeah, 20-19. Absolutely. Brown has only started 1 game. So that's the scenario you get tonight. Out of his 13 appearances, just 1 start. So you're looking at an opener-type situation for the Cubs. And the Braves obviously countering with Chris Sale, who, again, has just been fantastic. That's tonight, first pitch, 7:15. All right, also last night in the NBA, look, I give the Cavaliers a ton of props. They found a way to win that game last night. They were down, roughly 19, 20 points, came back, got close, went down 9 with about, 2 minutes left, and found a way to win. They got it to overtime and then won in OT. And yeah, should there have been a foul at the end of the regulation? Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking through the NBA rule book right now. Nothing here says tripping a guy's legal. But Asar Thompson, defensively, Detroit played great defense on Cleveland's final possession. Asar Thompson gets the ball after Detroit gets, I don't know if it's more of a block or just knocking the ball away from Donovan Mitchell. So Thompson gets it. And I'm just being real because I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care who wins the series. Jared Allen of the Cavs then just trips Asar Thompson, really runs into him. And there's no call. And look, I get the whole swallowing the whistle thing at the end of a game. I don't agree with it. I understand it. It happens all the time. You have to give that official the Heimlich to pop that whistle out of his throat. He swallowed it. Should have been a foul. It wasn't, but again, if you're the Pistons, you shouldn't be sitting in that point because you went to a 9-point lead in the last 2 minutes. So guess whose fault it is? Oh, the officials? No, your fault. You had a 19-point lead at one point, and you gacked it away. You have you to blame. Yes, you should have got a call at the end. Did you get screwed over there? Sure, but you have no one to blame but you. It should have never came down to that. And the Cavaliers just kept grinding it. Far from a perfect night. Cleveland turned the thing over 16 times. The human turnover machine that is James Harden had 6 turnovers. Only made 8 shots. But the good news is Harden got to the line 14 times. It took Harden 21 shots to score 30 points because you take away his free throws. He had 30. So the good thing James Harden can still do in his career is get to the line. He can get fouled, and he's a good flopper. Harden's number one ability to me, besides passing, which sometimes he just doesn't want to do because he wants to shoot. James Harden's second best skill to me besides passing, well, third, beard growing is obviously top shelf. So we got beard growing, we've got passing, and then we got to get into the line. What James Harden's skill set isn't anymore is standing outside the three-point line, drill the ball between his legs, trying to jab step a guy 10 years younger than him so he can get a step-back three. James, stop doing it, please. I know he's listening. Stop doing it, James. 3 of 10 from 3 last night. 6 turnovers. But did get to the line 14 times. That was huge for the Cavaliers, even though Harden missed some free throws late in overtime. Donovan Mitchell woke up in OT. Cleveland just found a way, man. They just did last night, and that's their first road win of the playoffs. Now they can close this sucker out in Cleveland and move on. And I'll say this, watching this game last night, I'm like, it doesn't matter who wins the series. Neither one of these teams can beat the Knicks. They just can't. You know, if I'm the Knicks, I just want a 7-game series where these guys are pummeling the heck out of each other. I'd probably rather play the Pistons because it's easy. Just double team Cade Cunningham, get the ball out of his hands, and dare the rest of those dudes to beat you because they can't in a 7-game series. They're not going to beat the Knicks in a 7-game series because you got one guy who can score. That's it. So, again, that was last night in the playoffs. Colorado Avalanche came back. They were down 3-0 to the Minnesota Wild, came back 1 in overtime, 4-3. Avalanche are celebrating. The Wild are crying uncontrollably in the fetal position on the ice by blowing that lead. And the Avs will move on. And besides goalie, the Avs are the most talented team in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But you better get the goalie thing right. The guy standing in front of the net's kind of important. I will pop back in here. Yesterday on this show with Scott Hamilton, Todd Walker from ESPN talked about a lot of stuff, but zeroed in on the South Carolina head coaching opening. We'll play you what Todd Walker had to say next here on the I almost did it, Dave, here on the halftime show. Terry Ford, appreciate you hanging out with us here on the game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
When you're craving scratch-made food, 29-degree draft beer, and the best seat in the house for every game, there's only one place to go, Twin Peaks. From juicy burgers and smoked in-house wings to ice-cold brews served by the friendliest team around, Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports lodge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you never miss a moment. So grab your crew and head to Twin Peaks, where the views are great, the food hits hard, and the beer is always colder than your ex's heart. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic
Elijah
view.
Campbell here from 107.5 The Game, and spring cleaning is in full swing. And if you're hosting graduation parties or family get-togethers, Zero Res can help you get your home ready. Get carpets cleaned for just $35 per room and stairs for only $35, 50% off the standard price, plus take $50 off air duct cleaning, all by mentioning 107.5 The Game. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts longer. Appointments are filling fast. Visit ZeroResColumbia.com to book today.
Email hijacking and ransomware are on the rise, and they're targeting your business. Once your data is out there, there's no fix, no reset. Do you know where your business is vulnerable right now? Find out with a cybersecurity audit from IntelliSystems. IntelliSystems is one of the few firms worldwide that's GTIA Cybersecurity Trust Mark assured, meaning the highest global standards. They find gaps before criminals do. Schedule your audit now. IntelliSystems.com.
Personal injury lawyers are everywhere, and they come in all shapes and sizes. So how do you choose? I'm Michael Jeffcoat. I grew up in South Carolina. I went to school here, I met my wife here, and together we opened the Jeffcoat firm right here to help our community get the support they deserve. Over the last 25 years, we've won millions of dollars for injured accident victims right here in our home state.
We believe that local is better.
And you deserve better.
Responsible attorney is Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Warning
warning to all sports fans. If you're still using a sportsbook, you're getting robbed blind. Here are the facts. Sportsbooks skim your payout for profit. On a $100 position, they take around $9 just to let you play. It's theft in broad daylight. On that same $100 position, sportsbooks pay out $500. Polymarket pays $650. That's because Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sportsbook. You trade against other people, not the house. That means more money for you and less for those greedy sportsbooks. Even better, it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident you'll never go back to those thieving sportsbooks that they're giving you $20 free for your first trade. Just download Polymarket in the App Store and use promo code PAW20 to unlock your $20 free trade. That's promo code PAW20 for a free $20 trade. It's time to stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Download Polymarket and use code PAW20 for $20 free.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Gamecock Nation. It's getting hot in here. And at Gamecock Traditions, they're turning up the heat with 30% off sweats all May long. That's right, hoodies, crews, and more. Now 30% off. Whether you're gearing up for cool mornings, late night tailgates, or just repping the Coxon style, now is the time to stock up and save big. But hurry, this offer ends May 31st. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Gamecock Traditions. For Gamecocks, by Gamecocks.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Listen, it is not too late to stop this. Do not do this. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. It's damn near perfect. It's beautiful as it is. Stop trying to fix what ain't broke. And stop telling me that the tournament isn't the tournament unless the 15th place team in the SEC gets in. Stop jerking with the best event in all of sports, you pigs.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. What's your beef? Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Our buddy Nick Harvey from WIS-TV just hit me up. We're talking about the NHL playoffs, and Nick loves his pucks. He says, I'll boldly claim it now. Colorado and Carolina in the final. I can see it. That'd be a fun final in the NHL. And thanks to our buddy Nick, munching his lunch listening to us. Thank you, Nick. All right, Todd Walker, I don't disagree with Nick on that, but the Avs just better get the goalie right. You can't. It's like I always say it's like an NFL or college team. You got two starting quarterbacks, you got none. You got two goalies, to me, you got none. You got to get it right. But I do not disagree with Nick's prediction. Eventually, you'll see the Avs and the Canes in the Stanley Cup final, which again would be entertaining. All right, Todd Walker from ESPN was on this show yesterday. Scott Hamilton filling in for Bill and Tyler on the halftime show yesterday. Scott had Todd Walker on, college baseball analyst, ESPN. And here's what Todd had to say about the South Carolina head coaching search. Hit it, Dave.
Well, you'd retain the pitching staff that they have, for the most part. Amp Phillips and Brandon Stone, if they don't get drafted, those would be the guys I'd want to keep. Zach Russell's had a big year. Chicoli, Parks, those are the guys you target. Baseball is not 100% pitching, but it's 90% pitching. And I think South Carolina has a good base for that. Love Monty Lee. I mean, he's been a head coach. He's been under Ray Tanner. He's been under Paul Maneri. I talked hitting with him when I did the game there, South Carolina. I think Kentucky was in town. Really impressed with what he knows about the game, and been coaching since 2001. So, if you're going after a guy that's paying a lot of money for the X's and O's, I think you're going down a wrong direction, because everybody in the Southeastern Conference knows baseball and knows the the stuff that you've got to do to win baseball games. So what I think separates them is recruiting. Like, how much recruiting, how much effort do I put in? How many people do I have helping me? Do my players like me as a person? Because there's a fine line. I mean, you've got to be a mentor, but you also have to be likable. Otherwise, the players won't play for you. But I would target the pitching staff because the South Carolina team this year had a base of, and I don't want to give Amp and Brandon excuses. They're really, really good. I just think that they fell into the trap of where the season was and how it was going. I think there's a different level to those guys. And so my first priority would be to retain as many of those arms that you can that had a big year.
Makes sense. That's Todd Walker again, ESPN. He played at LSU. He played in the majors, kind of like most with the Rockies. My memory serves me. But Walker was a heck of a player in his day. Now doing analysis for ESPN, he's like, look, you got to hold on to the pitchers. And again, if guys don't go toward the MLB draft and get drafted and take off, would you like to keep Amp Phillips and Brandon Stone? Sure. Absolutely. For a while there, the pitching was carrying this thing when the Gamecocks were competitive when Monty first took over. Heck, the ERA was like a run better for a while, but then these last few weeks, the pitching has kind of gone south. Again, offensively, no consistency at all. And we've seen this thing kind of crater in the last 3 weeks. And obviously, Monty will be a candidate. We've talked about this since Paul Maneri was asked to no longer be the head coach, or agreed with Jeremiah Donati he shouldn't be the head coach. However that went down. Monty should get an interview and a conversation, absolutely. But also you should look out of house. No stone should be left unturned to try to find the best dude to fill that office and get South Carolina back to where they used to be. And I'm looking at hot boards. We've heard about Nolan Cain, the associate head coach at Texas. Also, we talked about Will Coggin yesterday with Dave Johnston, the play-by-play voice for Georgia baseball. And Coggin, look, his team score runs. At Georgia, they've scored a ton of runs, a lot of bombs, a lot of big innings. Offensively, they walk, they hit for power. They do a lot of good things with the offense. And, also Coggin built that offense for that small ballpark at Athens. But he's a guy whose offense is cooked, man. He also did it at Kentucky, obviously did it different than he's doing it at Georgia. Also a good recruiter, develops infielders. Coggin is a guy we heard Johnston yesterday said, he's going to be a head coach somewhere, and I agree. I just think, again, where South Carolina's at right now, where this program is right now, going for the high-level, hotshot, up-and-coming assistant who has never been a head coach, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But those are two guys whose names you have heard and you'll continue to hear. And I think J.C. Sherbert on 3 with Gamecock Central Big Spur said that Coggin obviously is a candidate that the Gamecocks are interested in. So we shall see on that front. And when we talked to Dave Johnston yesterday, Jay and I, Jay's trying to be nice. And I was like, look, let's cut to the chase, Dave. If there's a team in the SEC who had a coaching opening, wink, wink, and they were interested in Wes Johnson, the head coach of Georgia, wink, wink, and they would offer Wes near $2 million, wink, what would Georgia do? And Dave Johnston just, again, not that he is a decision maker, but he just has been around the program. He thinks Georgia will do everything they can to keep Wes Johnson. But do I think Wes Johnson's going to leave? No. Would I talk to Wes Johnson if I was South Carolina? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, I'm going to talk to everybody. I'll talk to Kane. I'll talk to Coggin. I want to talk to Wes Johnson. I'll talk to our buddy Coach Nick, the head coach at Kentucky. I'm going to see what's up with Tom Walter these days. I mean, his star has kind of dimmed a little bit at Wake the last couple of years, but still, I want to talk to Tom Walter. How much of it is NIL? That's the one thing. When you see a program that used to be really good for a period of time, all of a sudden not be as good, how much of it is you're not getting the NIL money you need, and that's hurting and dampening your ability to get the players you used to get? I think it's a fair question. I just do. Because Wake was rolling. A few years ago, they played for the championship. And they've still been good lately, but not to that level or anywhere close to that level. So your question is, did Tom Walter forget how to coach? Tom Walter gotten bored? Is he spending more money or spending more time, in his private island? Is something breaking the pitching machine they have and the pitching lab? Or is he just not getting the money, the NIL money at Wake Forest to be able to get the players he was getting previously? Is he losing that battle? The battle of the NIL dollar. Maybe. I still think he's a guy you talk to. Wake, he did a really good job at Wake Forest. And guys who take nothing and make it something, or guys who take something that's or like my kid would say, meh, and make it something, I think those are the guys you talk to. They're builders. You have builders and you have property managers. I want a builder. Especially I think South Carolina needs rebuilt. I know it's tough to say that out loud. It's tough to realize that, but in my opinion, it needs a rebuild. I mean, these last 2 years combined, historically bad. And who knows what the transfer portal is going to do. You might be going out there trying to build a whole new team. Your recruiting has gone down. We talked about that earlier. It's a rebuild. I want a builder, not a property manager. In this case. That's just me. All right, so it's a halftime show. Terry Ford hanging until Tyler gets back here from Wood Creek. By the way, we'll give you, I almost forgot about this. Do I have time? Yeah, I got a quick second. Right now, at the Wood Creek Golf Club, the Corn Ferry Tour, leading Zach Blair, 7 under, finished up his round for the day. He's finished up the first round. 7 under. You got a whole load of dudes at 5 under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 golfers at 5 under. 2 shots behind Zach Blair, who's sitting at 7 under. That's at Wood Creek right now, the Corn Ferry Tour. All right, we'll pop back. Dave has, printed me out. Dave loves to print things. Dave is a huge fan of using the printer. Dave printed me out an interesting Atlanta Braves story that we want to get to next. Right down Dave's alley. This is a Dave Adair story, no doubt. And we'll get to it next here on the halftime show with Terry Ford hanging in until Tyler gets here, probably at 1 o'clock here on the Game Network, at the Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This is Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and the Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. We know times are tough, but we would love to help you out and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are about to enter an era of football, unfortunately for Steelers fans, that I think will be reminiscent of the 1980s, which was not a good decade for the Steelers. They wanted to draft USC receiver Mekhi Lemon and got jumped by the Philadelphia Eagles. They hired Mike McCarthy, a retread coach, this offseason. They're waiting on 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers to play quarterback. What the hell's happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers? I'm Nick Costos.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Memorial Day deals are at the Home Depot, which means one thing. It's go time. So kick off your planting projects and fill your space with colorful blooms that will thrive in your area. Then protect your flower beds with savings on mulch. On special buy, 4 bags for $10. This Memorial Day, get your backyard ready for summer with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Pricing valid May 14th through May 27th. U.S. only. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, so Dave is great with these stories, and I don't know where he finds them. He'll have some kind of weird app or some weird Dave Adair portal. Maybe he just goes on the dark web and finds stuff. All right, Dave, since you work so hard to find this story, this comes out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Dateline, Wilmington, North Carolina. Remember those days, Dave? Dateline, Wilmington, North Carolina. A 100-year-old woman in Wilmington has found a new passion, I'm reading from the story, cheering for the Braves. Yes, they're my team, says Chris Benjamin. I don't have anybody above them, not even Duke or Carolina. Now, she's 100. She has a husband, Dave.
Oh, man.
I know what you were thinking. Is she rich, and does she have a heart condition? Is she single? I know what you were thinking.
Does she have good health insurance?
That's right, because you need the health insurance. Even though, you're a changed man. Look at you. You wear really fancy clothes. You tuck in your shirt. You're a changed man, Dave. You've lost weight. You go to the gym. Aren't you a personal trainer now?
No, but I have one.
But she does have a husband. 100-year-old Chris Benjamin does have a husband. His name's Jack. Her husband says Chris's fandom is well known and she watches every game with intensity, offering plenty of armchair managing. She's watching it and carrying on, complaining about all the coaching, telling the manager what he's not doing and what he should be doing. She's 100. Got to calm her down, Dave.
Oh,
it's not good for your heart to be that intense.
When you're 100 years old.
She's 100. Ready? She said the Braves have become such a source of comfort, she has had to give up other activities.
Other activities? Like what?
Doesn't say here. I guess scrapbooking, gardening.
Playing bingo.
Bingo. What's that? What is that? Shuffle?
Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard. She says, there's so much I just can't do anymore. The Braves are therapy for me. She's excited about the season. 100 years old, Braves fan. But all you care about in that story, Dave, is she has a husband.
She has a twin. You probably didn't read the rest of that part. She has a twin. You know.
She does. Well, there's hope, Dave. Does a twin have a husband?
I don't know. But
how old's a twin?
Did you see that video of the two twins in Australia?
No, Dave.
They talk in stereo. They say the same
God,
thing.
how annoying is that?
That's extremely annoying.
That's massively, extremely annoying.
Very weird.
That's just, that's beyond annoying.
But when I'm 100 years old, I'll probably be sitting around looking at TV going, go on, Gamecocks, do it.
Dave, that's only 6 years from now.
Yeah, but
you aren't that old.
You're getting up there in age, too. You know, we have that new benefit about.
So Johnny from Kiss walks by. You talking about old people? There's a 100-year-old woman Dave's interested in, Johnny. Johnny, Johnny, first thing, is she rich? That's all Johnny gets. Johnny's like, is she rich?
And Johnny wants to know what she looks like.
Yeah, Johnny want to know rich first, and then what she looks like. Johnny went to the money first. Johnny's passed on the 100-year-old. Anyway. All right, Dave. Thank you for the wonderful tidbit of information there.
That's a good story.
It is. It's a heartwarming tale. It's a cute story. She's 100 and she still has passion for sports.
I mean, when Jay's 100, he'll be sitting around.
There's no doubt. When Jay's 100, he'll be sitting there in his diaper in his wheelchair with his Braves gear on, cheering for Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, an Arsenal. An Arsenal. The Braves and Arsenal and the Denver Broncos. Sitting there in the assisted living center. Jay Phillips. You nailed it. All right, Dave, that was a beautiful, heartwarming tale. Thank you so much for sharing.
Anytime.
Anyway, Tyler is here. Has made it back from the Corn Ferry Tour. A little quick update. Of course, Tyler was out there from 9 to noon hanging out. Wes and Chris and the crew. 7 under. Zach Blair leading. He is in the clubhouse as he's finished up. Whole host of dudes are at 5 under. 6 golfers are sitting at 5 under right now in a bunched field. Who's still on the course who could possibly do some damage? See, Paul Peterson is at the 17th. And we'll get it here in a second. Or not. And Solomon is at the 15th, also 5 under. So 2 guys are still on the course. The others have finished up round 1 at 5 under. It's Jacob Solomon. So that's where we're at, the Corn Ferry Tour out at Wood Creek. We were out there today. Of course, it goes on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can still get tickets, I guess. And there's music after the rounds. Well, if you're 15 or under, college student or military, you get in for free. A lot of cool stuff going on, and Tyler will talk more about that as well. Dimitri Ravenos coming up at 2:15. Doug Turnbull at 1:30. A lot of stuff going on the rest of the halftime show. Tyler will take you the rest of the way. I got to see what Dave's looking at on the internet. We don't need all that trouble. We'll be back at 3 for the post-game show here on The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance. Scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals. But Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really start to come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that helps you keep what matters most, money. No hassle, just confidence that your coverage is customized with savings in mind. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local independent agent. Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of General tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan to see their General tire test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
There's one way to stop the IRS from moving forward against you. That's to have an experienced attorney who understands the law and your rights. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. When you hear these so-called national tax resolution companies telling you your IRS problems can go away, ask yourself, does it sound too good to be true, or am I just talking with a salesperson? Will a licensed attorney handle my legal problem? An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. Don't trust your tax problems to some out-of-town TV spokesperson. Come meet with me in person, and together we'll take control. We've helped thousands of individuals and businesses with tax problems right here in South Carolina. Your first visit is completely free and confidential. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. If you're a Carolina resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Carolina attorney. Hire me, John Ecton.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire and Automotive.
Last year's Technician Bikini Car Wash was a huge success.
But, unfortunately, Grease Lightning and Piston Pete left us for jobs at the club.
Don't worry, if you are feeling hot, we can still cool you down.
By fixing your car's AC for 30% less than the dealership charges.
And we have an $80 rebate on any set of Michelin or BF Goodrich tires until May 23rd.
Cool down online at PopeDavisTire.com.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Come on. Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
It's all right here for our friends over at Canty Foundation Specialists. We had some rain come through the area pretty recently, and if you got an open crawl space under your home, that rain can cause a lot of problems, like standing water under your home. That can create issues like mold and mildew. Can even invite pests like termites into your home as well, which you absolutely do not want. That's where our friends over at Canty Foundation Specialists come in. Go online to schedule your appointment today at cantycanfixit.com. They'll come out to your house, evaluate your home's foundation and crawl space issues, and get them fixed right so you and your family can live worry-free going forward. Do not hesitate, because those issues will only continue to get worse. Go online to cantycanfixit.com and schedule your appointment. Let one of the professionals at Canty Foundation Specialists come out to your home and help you out with your home's foundation and crawl space needs.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. It is the Halftime Show. Yes, Tyler Head has magically teleported from the Wood Creek Golf Club out in Elgin back into the studios here in Columbia. After being outside all morning, it's kind of a little bit of a downer to be back inside under fluorescent lighting. I got some good sun this morning, Dave. Y'all saw me with my sunglasses on because the sun was like right in my eyes the entire time, but I got some sun, got a little bit of color to me. I'm feeling good. Got some vitamin D this morning. It's great.
Wow, I love a day out. You know, I need to get one of those.
Well, I mean, Dave, you got all the time in the world when you're not here.
Well, yeah, but I do other things.
Well, you go for your walk, right?
Yeah, walk. I go to the gym.
Okay.
I have 2 gyms. I go to both of them.
Okay, doubling up on the gyms. Look at Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, now, all right, I came in at the tail end of the last hour. You're interested in this 100-year-old Braves fan? Is that what I'm understanding? Give me up to speed.
That's what Terry said. I just thought it was cool that this lady in the nursing home, 100 years old, she's discovered the Braves, and now she's a huge fan, you know.
Okay.
And she screams at the TV like anybody would when you're a fan and things go wrong.
Sure. But your interest level, that's what I'm asking here. That's what I came into that conversation. It sounded like you were inquiring.
No, my interest level is that I'm going to be aged soon. You know, I'm getting older.
Okay.
And I think I'm the oldest one here now, right? Who's older than me?
I can't answer that question, Dave. I know I'm not the youngest one here, so that's all that I know.
I can't think of anyone older. No, I'm the oldest one. Oh, my God.
What's a badge of honor, Dave? You should be proud of that.
Well, yeah. In some ways. My app tells me that I have a chronological age of what I am.
Okay.
But my physical age is 28.
Well, there you go. It's like the whole thing. Don't act your age, act your shoe size, Dave. Your age is a state of mind. So if you think young, you'll be young. How about that?
Yeah, okay.
Well, anyways, you look good, Dave. That's the whole point of this. You look good. Happy Thursday. And we got 2 more hours of this thing, so hang in there.
Yeah, so I dressed up a little bit.
I see that. You got the button down on.
Yeah, and yesterday I did the same, and Jay walked in and was like, you got a date?
And what if you
Someone
do?
die?
What if you do have a date? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I'm like, I dress like this every day.
Look at me. I'm wearing a polo. Now, I was at a golf course, but I'm usually jeans and T-shirt kind of guy. But I stepped it up today. Had to fit in with the crowd. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to look good, man.
Absolutely.
You never know who you're going to run into.
Exactly. Saw a lot of people out there. Appreciate the listeners and stuff that said hello while we were hanging out there. Again, appreciate the Corn Ferry Tour and everybody out there at Wood Creek for allowing us to hang out this morning. Great time. Again, we'll kind of keep you updated on how everything's going with that as the show and the weekend goes along, because again, today's just round number 1. But hey, if you got a chance to get out there, got some free time this weekend, absolutely do it. I highly recommend it. Great course out there, great facility, and should be a fun event as the weekend rolls along. What won't be quite as fun though is Gamecock Baseball. Yes, we got to talk about Gamecock Baseball. Vanderbilt tonight, 7 o'clock first pitch. Pregame coverage starting at 6:45. Same thing tomorrow, Saturday, 1:45 for a 2 o'clock first pitch to round out the series. I think this series is the perfect encapsulation of how different things are for the South Carolina baseball team. Because a decade ago, 8 years ago, heck, 5-6 years ago, if you tell me, hey, South Carolina is going to Vanderbilt for the last series of the regular season in the SEC, that automatically has huge implications. Oh, man, Vanderbilt's probably ranked inside the top 10. Carolina's, somewhere ranked. They're probably fighting to try and host or get a top 8 national seed or something along those lines. This is the kind of series that used to mean a lot to a program like this. But think about where we're at now. Hey, how many of you are going to watch this is my question. Like, it's versus our job. I'm going to be watching this game because you have to come in here and talk about it tomorrow. I'm not excited about it, right? It's not one that I rolled out of bed this morning thinking, oh, boy, I can't wait to watch South Carolina and Vanderbilt coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. It's going to be so great. Like, I'm doing it because I have to. Jack is in Nashville, not because he's, Nashville's a fun place to be. You can go there for many reasons, but he's not going there with the anticipation and excitement of, oh, boy, I get to cover a classic South Carolina Vanderbilt series. No, it's his job. He has to be there, write about it for Gamecock Central, provide us the content from the scene there out at Vanderbilt's baseball stadium. He also has to deal with the Vandy Whistler, I guess, because that's always a thing when you go to Vanderbilt. But again, I think it just shows how far down the South Carolina baseball program is that we don't care about the Vanderbilt series. We don't care about the last series of the regular season. You're not even hyped for Hoover next week, right? Because that's their only path to making the NCAA tournament is going on a miraculous run. And look, baseball's a funny game. Nothing is impossible. Nothing's impossible. But I don't think anybody looks at this team with the way they're structured pitching-wise, offensively, defensively, and thinks that that's possible. Could they win a game? Sure. Baseball's a funny game. Could they win 2? Maybe. But past that, this team ain't built for that. We're all twiddling our thumbs, waiting for the next head coach to be hired, right? And we really have been doing that for several weeks now, at least when Monty took over. Now, right at about 2 months ago, I know it feels like a lifetime at this point, but there was that renewed spark of optimism, really even that in that weekend, right? Because they should have beaten Arkansas in game number 2 on Saturday. They did beat them on Sunday. We're like, okay, maybe we got something here. And we held out that hope for a couple weeks when there were still realistic possibilities that Carolina could make something out of this season. And then, you're in the middle of a 9-game losing streak now. What more is there to say? And those losses include to teams like Winthrop, right? So all that has gone out the window in the past couple weeks. And again, I don't even know how many of you are interested in watching this game or this series this weekend. Especially as we get to this time of the year where there's so many other options of things to do. right? And today it's 80 degrees outside, right? This weekend it's going to be beautiful. Temperatures in the, I think, getting over to the high 80s on Saturday. You can go for a walk. You can go to the lake. You can go to dinner. You can go to Little League Baseball or a Fireflies game, whatever. There are other things that occupy your time that you can do if you don't want to watch this baseball program. And that is going to be the task of whoever this next head coach is going to be, is reeling that fan base back in, right? I've referenced this a couple times this week because I thought it was such an apt analogy. But Elijah and Preston were talking about this yesterday morning, 2 days ago, whenever it was in the early game. And Elijah likened the job that this new head coach is going to have to do to a revivalist Baptist preacher, right? If you've ever been to a Southern Baptist revival, they are selling the word to you. They are trying to reignite your faith or take it to another level, right? That's the purposes of those things. And that, in a way, is what this next head coach is going to have to do. Whether it's Dan Fitzgerald, Kevin Schnall, Kirk Sarloos, whoever, Nolan Cain, Will Coggins, whoever is the next head coach is going to have to really go and fix a lot of the damage that's been done through these past 2 years with the Mainieri era. And I say that from a standpoint, and I know Terry was talking about it in the last hour while he was waiting for me to get here, the piece in reference to what Jamie Bradford wrote on the Big Spur through Gamecock Central. They have the partnership now, obviously. Go subscribe if you haven't already. Or he, touched on the detail that I feel like we kind of knew, but seeing it explained even more, further emphasizes how bad this decision was, where Monty Lee Paul Mainieri stripped Monty Lee of his recruiting and gave that to Terry Rooney, a guy that doesn't know this state from Oklahoma or whatever, right? And they stopped focusing on in-state talent. And I would imagine probably damage those relationships with high schools across the state. I don't want to say extremely, but probably to a significant degree, right? To where whoever this head coach is, especially if it's somebody that doesn't already have a recruiting record inside the state, they're going to have to put boots on the ground and go to these schools and rekindle those relationships for these schools that think that South Carolina doesn't care about them, right? You've got a lot of talent in this state. And look, there's talent from all over the place, but you can't ignore what's in your backyard. And yes, we're in a transactional era of college sports now where the portal and all that kind of stuff can fill out a roster, but you can't live and die on that every single year. You still have to have a good recruiting base to some degree. I mean, look at you. Ethan Petrie came in here, developed, and ended up being a really good player. We think Will Craddock has that ability. He's shown you a lot of that in his freshman year, right? So it's still important to have those young guys. And as we talk about so much with all sports, baseball, football, and basketball, you can't ignore what's in your backyards, especially the high-end talent. And that's something that, unfortunately, Paul Mainieri and Terry Rooney and whoever else was involved in that didn't think was important enough to focus on. So now you're having to repair that. In addition to whatever this roster is going to be that's left, right? And I know that, Terry played the clip from Todd Walker of ESPN College Baseball that was on with Scott Hamilton yesterday. He focused on a couple guys that, mainly the pitching staff, that you can hopefully hang on to, but you don't know. When you have a coaching change, there's a lot of guys on this team that probably want Monty Lee to be the next head coach. That when he doesn't get it, because, again, the likelihood of that is extremely, extremely slim, there's going to be a lot of guys that probably say, all right, I'm not staying here. I don't want to wait for a new head coach. I don't want to see what this new guy's all about. I'm going to go somewhere else or go play for a coach that I know or follow Monty Lee if he goes takes a head coaching job somewhere. I don't know. That's going to happen. That happens all the time. So you're going to have to repair the recruiting relationships. You're going to have to piece together whatever you can left of this roster of guys that are capable of doing something for you, because as bad as the season's been, there are guys that can do things. There are guys that do have upside potential, like a Will Craddock. We'll see what, people think of Riley Goodman when the season's said and done. Yeah, he's had a lot of rockiness this year, but the guy's got high upside potential that could still be valuable to whoever this next head coach is. And this isn't just the list of the only things they have to do. They also have to repair the relationship with the fan base, right? Now, the good thing is this is a fan base that doesn't completely divorce itself from the program when it's bad. This is a fan base that may stop watching, that may say they don't care, but they do. Because, one, they're listening to us talk about it. They're still checking scores. they're still keeping up with what's going on. They're not completely removing themselves from Gamecock baseball. And if you make the right hire, that fan base is going to be excited, hopefully, to want to come back in. Now, that coach, again, still has to go out there and sell, hey, I'm here now. This is my program. This is what you can expect out of me as a head coach. Let's go make this happen. And I really hope they can do that before the start of next year, because the past couple of years, Founders Park on opening day, not been as buzzing as you would have hoped. Right? Now, this year, you can understand because people weren't as juiced coming off of a disappointing season last year, but I really hope whoever this next head coach is embraces the city, as we talk about a lot. And that's a key part of this job, is making people know that you care and want to be here because they care about this program so much. Kingston wasn't great at that. Maneri obviously wasn't great at that. You have to be ingrained in this community and this, fandom to get the support you need. And the last two coaches didn't do that. I hope whoever gets hired is capable of doing that. And we see that being part of the remending process and healing process to get Carolina baseball back to where it needs to be, in addition to the stuff on the field, because stuff off the field is just as important too. And as we're looking at these head coaching candidates, a lot of them come from various backgrounds, right? And I think one thing we've overlooked a little bit in talking about this head coaching search is the quality of the tree that the candidate comes from. And you got a lot of guys with a lot of really good backgrounds. And there's one particular coach in college football that spoke about that recently on the Josh Pate Show. We'll discuss that coming up on the other side. It is the halftime show. Tyler Head, Captain Dave, hanging out with you on your Thursday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. And when things don't go well, it's time to look back on the days when things were well. Yeah, let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
Line drive, right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
Sellers in the pocket. Up in the pocket, gonna run inside the 20, 10. Lenore Sellers going left side, 5. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown. Touchdown, Lenore Sellers. From 20 yards out, the Gamecocks take the lead at Death Valley.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Gamecock Nation, it's getting hot in here. And at Gamecock Traditions, they're turning up the heat with 30% off sweats all May long. That's right, hoodies, crews, and more. Now 30% off. Whether you're gearing up for cool mornings, late night tailgates, or just repping the Coxon style, now is the time to stock up and save big. But hurry, this offer ends May 31st. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Gamecock Traditions. For Gamecocks, by Gamecocks.
Elijah Campbell here from 107.5 The Game, and spring cleaning meets hosting season with Zero Res. Get carpets cleaned for just $35 per room, and stairs are now only $35 too. Plus, take $50 off that air duct cleaning by mentioning 107.5 The Game. Look now at ZeroResColumbia.com and get guest ready today.
Warning to all sports fans. If you're still using a sports book, you're getting robbed
blind. Here are the facts. Sportsbooks skim your payout for profit. On a $100 position, they take around $9 just to let you play. It's theft in broad daylight. On that same $100 position, sportsbooks pay out $500. Polymarket pays $650. That's because Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sportsbook. You trade against other people, not the house. That means more money for you and less for those greedy sportsbooks. Even better, it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident you'll never go back to those thieving sportsbooks that they're giving you $20 free for your first trade. Just download Polymarket in the App Store and use promo code PAW20 to unlock your $20 free trade. That's promo code PAW20 for a free $20 trade. It's time to stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Download Polymarket and use code PAW20 for $20 free.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
Are you considering a new roof or repairs but unsure where to start? Crescent Construction offers free roofing estimates to help you make informed decisions with ease. Our expert team is ready to assess your needs and provide comprehensive insights. Visit our website, crescentcarolina.com, to learn more about our services and schedule your free estimate today. Trust us to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. Don't wait. Contact us today at crescentcarolina.com.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Men's Clinic. You know, too often guys will not go to the doctor when they're feeling off, whether it's because they think they can tough it out or because they don't want to talk about it. Don't be that guy. Get to feeling better after you see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. They are experts in healthcare for men, and they're dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. Call them up for a free consultation, 803-875-MENS, and learn more online at themensclinicsc.com.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Halftime Show. Tyler Head, Captain Dave, Kale still here hanging out as well on your Thursday on the Game. Talk some NASCAR with Doug Turnbull coming up in about 10 minutes as SVG once again kicked everybody's butts at Watkins Glen this weekend. And we have the All-Star race coming up this weekend in Dover. I don't know how many people are excited about it. We'll dissect what exactly the All-Star race means in the current state of NASCAR today. Again, that's coming up in about 10 minutes. No picks this week because this is not a points-paying event. So we'll discuss all that coming up with Doug from the Performance Racing Network in about 10 minutes or so. But as we'll continue to do for about the next, 2 to 3 weeks maybe, we're talking coaching search. We're talking who's going to be South Carolina's next head coach. We've discussed a ton of candidates up to this point already, and we'll continue to do so until that hire ultimately gets made. But I was listening yesterday. Josh Pate, who of course does his college football podcast, one of the best ones out there, and he's in the middle of his speaker series where he goes and talks to various coaches around the country, picks their brain on their programs, their experiences, and all that kind of stuff. And I was listening to a little bit of his interview with Curt Cignetti, of course, Indiana national champion, one of the highest paid coaches in all of college football now, and rightfully so. And he asked him about his experience working for Nick Saban at Alabama. Dave, this is going to be cut number 2 from today's list. Here's Curt Cignetti talking about everything he learned from Nick Saban when he was there at Alabama from 2007 to 2010.
No, I think going with Coach, and I went with him in 2007, part of his original staff. I just learned so much. And like you said, he had a philosophy. He had been a head coach 13 or 14 years by then, right? Trial and error. And he could lay it out there where it just made so much sense. And he had an organized, detailed plan for everything. And really, after 1 year with Coach, I felt like I had learned more about how to run a program than maybe the previous 28 as an assistant. And I'd come from a coaching family. Dad's, Hall of Fame coach. But my experience with Coach Saban was invaluable. And in the sense of urgent, every day was 4th and 1 with Coach Saban. And but that's the way it had to be, kind of to fight complacency and find the edge on a daily basis and be as good as you could be. And I just learned so much.
And, not every Saban assistant that gets hired works out and ends up winning a national championship. A couple have. Kirby Smart, now Kurt Cignetti. But being a Saban guy gets a lot of jobs. Will get you a lot of jobs, right? Well, Muschamp, former Saban guy, Sarkisian at Texas right now, former Saban guy. And we can just go on and on and on for guys that have come from the Saban tree in one way or the other across college football, the NFL as well, because that is looked at as the best coaching tree you could possibly come from in today's age. Because, again, he may be the best ever because of what a great coach Nick Saban is. And as we're talking about these candidates here, I feel like that's an aspect we haven't discussed quite as much is where they come from, who they learn under. Now maybe we talk about it a little bit more with the assistants because we don't have head coaching records and resumes to fall back on. But I think it's an important discussion to have about all these guys, right? And who did you learn under? Who showed you the ropes of college baseball coaching that when you take over here at South Carolina, I can look at maybe what that guy did, maybe something that made that guy special as a head coach or why he had success that maybe you might be able to bring here. And I will say, again, I'm kind of operating off the list that Jack Veltri put on Gamecock Central right after, Maneri split from South Carolina, or they split from him, however you want to look at it. But a lot of these names are ones that are in that rumor mill of being in consideration for the South Carolina job. And I must say, there's a lot of these guys that have great mentors to fall back on and look at when you look at their respective coaching trees. Talk about a guy like Josh Jordan, currently at LSU right now, has been there for the past couple years, was on Jay Johnson's staff for both of those two national championships in the past 3 years. Yeah, the current team's not doing that great, but still learned under Jay Johnson for national championship teams in the past couple years, was also under Chris Pollard at Duke, another great coach that he could learn from. And help mold him in to who he is or potentially can be as a head coach. And again, that's somebody that's an assistant. We don't have a track record to fall back on. But I look at a guy like Kirk Sarloos, currently still at TCU, was an assistant under Jim Schlossnagle, who Jim Schlossnagle misheard a lot of the guys that are on the list for South Carolina and their potential head coaching and being a potential head coach here at Carolina. But Sarloos learned under him, took over a program in a really good space from him and was able to keep that going these past couple of years. Again, we understand the connection between Donati and all that kind of stuff. But, when Sarloos dipped for Texas A&M, when Schloss dipped for Texas A&M, Sarloos was the perfect candidate and, again, has done a really good job of keeping things on track out there in Fort Worth. Now, again, just because you learned under somebody good doesn't guarantee you're going to go out there and be successful, right? So I'm not saying this is the end-all, be-all, but I think it's important to look at those kind of things because I came across a tweet somebody had from the other day, that one of the college baseball accounts, and it was from Arkansas's 2017 coaching staff. Now, of course, Dave Van Horn was at Arkansas because he's been there forever. But two of his assistants at that time were Tony Vitello and Wes Johnson. Of course, Tony Vitello would go on to get the Tennessee job, having never been a head coach before, and he would take them to a national championship and win a national championship. And obviously now he's managing the San Francisco Giants, a very rare jump for somebody to go from college baseball to the pros like that. And Wes Johnson is doing things at Georgia that they haven't done in 2 decades, right? And he's got them primed to maybe make their first trip back to Omaha since 2008. Now, again, he bounced around a lot, has learned from a lot of different people, but Dave Van Horn was one of them. And if we were looking at Wes Johnson as a candidate here, and I know there's rumors that he might be, I look at what he's doing in Georgia, which is great, but I also say, man, he also learned under Dave Van Horn. And that experience he got from that, I think, is very valuable as well, and hopefully an indication of what he could do at South Carolina if he does ultimately end up being the next head coach. Again, we don't know who specifically is on Jeremiah Donati's list. We don't know who he's talked to, who he's back-channeled. There's rumors and reporting out there on some candidates, like a Dan Fitzgerald, who does seem to be in a lot of people's minds, maybe one of the favorites, which I'd very much be in support of that. Jack and I have been doing our head coaching gauntlet in the mornings each and every week for the past week, or each and every day for the past week and a half. And Dan Fitzgerald has advanced through in several of these rounds because I think he's a really good coach. But for all these, whoever it ends up being, I hope it's somebody that, if they have head coaching experience, does have a good track record in terms of who he learned under, what tree he came from, and what that can mean for here as well. Again, when we have as much time as we've had to really break this down and analyze it, you look at every single layer. And this is something that, again, I feel like we haven't dove into quite as much, right? And I do think that's an important aspect that I'm sure Jeremiah Donati is very, very well aware of, and hopefully he ends up making a great hire that gets us excited and one that, as I talked about a little bit earlier on in the hour, reignites that energy that this fan base so desperately needs when it comes to Gamecock baseball. So we'll see. Again, this conversation not going anywhere anytime soon. That is certainly for sure. But coming up next, we'll start shifting some gears. We'll talk some racing with Doug Turnbull of the Performance Racing Network and recap what happened this past weekend out at Watkins Glen. It is the halftime show. Tyler Head and Captain Dave on your Thursday on the Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
South Carolina head baseball coach Paul Manieri has been let go. Monty Lee is the interim coach, and possible candidates are already emerging.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We're in week 11, and we're already talking about jobs. What a world we're in.
Keep it here on The Game as we follow every rumor. Girlfriend.
No fluff. No filler.
That's good enough for me.
Your home of all Gamecocks gossip. 107.5 The Game and The Game Network.
It is Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for over 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and it is that history, those 30 years, that is your assurance that their professionals will get the job done for you. And not only that, but they'll get the job done in a safe, pleasing, and timely manner for you and your operation, whether it's your home or your business. Mid-State Roofing is there to make sure that they keep your operation dry and running long into the future. But most importantly, they are there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You heard that right. You can give them a phone call at 10 p.m., midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You get the point. Mid-State Roofing has got an on-call technician ready to receive your phone call, help you with a maintenance contract or any roof leakage that you have. So give them a phone call, 803-356-1919, and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Discover the Griffin difference. Griffin Pools and Spas is your headquarters for family fun and outside enjoyment. We offer Latham fiberglass pools, Imperial vinyl pools, above-ground pools, spas by Bullfrog, Marquee, Tropic Season Generations, and Swim Spas, the Big Green Egg, all things Yeti and Turtle Box Gen 3, Ranger, and Grande Bluetooth speakers. We sell fun. Come see us and get summer ready today. Discover the Griffin difference. Family owned and operated for 50 years.
Griffin Pools and Spas. We make you feel good.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
When you're craving scratch-made food, 29-degree draft beer, and the best seat in the house for every game, there's only one place to go, Twin Peaks. From juicy burgers and smoked in-house wings to ice-cold brews served by the friendliest team around, Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports lodge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you never miss a moment. So grab your crew and head to Twin Peaks, where the views are great, the food hits hard, and the beer is always colder than your ex's heart. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Visit callAAAtoday.com to schedule an appointment. Tell them Preston on the Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
After being almost $500,000 in tax debt, I was listening to the radio one day and heard a ad for John Ecton Law Firm. So I gave him a call and met with him, and he gave me the confidence to trust him after The reason behind my tax problems anyways was trusting someone I probably should have never trusted. He did everything he said he was going to do and then some. His staff at the office were great, very knowledgeable. With John's help, I have no tax debt now, and I was able to have a family that otherwise I would have never been able to have.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Elijah Campbell here from 107.5 The Game, and spring cleaning meets hosting season with Zerorez. Get carpets cleaned for just $35 per room, and stairs are now only $35 too. Plus, take $50 off that air duct cleaning by mentioning 107.5 The Game. Look now at ZerorezColumbia.com and get guest ready today.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Down by almost 30 seconds. Going to win by easy. Unbelievable. Checkered flag. Shane Van Gisbergen is the master of NASCAR road racing.
Welcome back in. It is the Halftime Show. Tyler Head and Captain Dave with you here on your Thursday on The Game. That was caught once again from Fox Sports on Sunday as, yes, indeed, Shane Van Gisbergen picks up another victory on a road course in the NASCAR Cup Series. And as you heard Clint Boyer mention there at the beginning of that clip, he had to overcome almost a 30-second deficit in that final stage as some guys stayed out like Connor Zilic and Ty Gibbs trying to save fuel. And stretched to the end, SVG bolts on new tires and drove like a man possessed through the field to still be able to win the race over Michael McDowell by about 7 or so seconds as we bring in Doug Turnbull from the Performance Racing Network on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Doug, I mean, what more can you say? SVG, incredible at the road courses, as we know, and Sunday was another example of just how good he is, especially when driving on the offensive.
Well, you know, good afternoon to you all, and a lot of people upset because passing overall was hard when everybody's on the same strategy and kind of in the same talent field. But who was on a different strategy at the end to be aggressive? Shane Van Gisbergen, of course. He also, just with his technique of basically right foot braking, using the gas and the brake with the same foot so he could use the clutch to make the car handle in different ways with his left foot. That just puts him in a different class. So, yeah, he didn't have problems passing with those two factors baked in. And, frankly, especially now that we're down to, 4 road courses a year. At one point we had 6 or 7 road courses in the racing season. I'm okay watching dominance because dominance is always only in eras, right? And Chase Elliott had his road course dominance era. It looked like Tyler Reddick was coming into his in the beginning of the Gen 7 car. And then onto the stage steps SVG from New Zealand and from Australia to do that. So I think that while you don't want to see it be such a difference, if there's something that stacks against them, and Michael McDowell was on the strategy too, where they stayed out on a caution where everyone else pitted right at the very, very edge of the fuel window, Shane Van Gisbergen didn't think he was going to win. It was only after he had pitted and then saw what the delta was to the leader. I'm okay seeing him overcome that, quote, adversity in different ways. And he has done this before to win stages, coming back from many, many seconds down. So I'm not surprised to see it, and I'm frankly enjoying it.
And, you know, and this goes for all sports fans, but I think it's particularly interesting when it comes to NASCAR of how dominance is looked at, right? Where you can have a guy, you know, say like a Jeff Gordon in the 90s when he started winning championships. Hey, he wins his first one in 95. That's great. Wins another one a couple years later in 97. Okay, that's cool. Wins a second straight one in 98. All right, now we're kind of getting sick of it. And then he wins one in 01, and people are kind of like, okay, I'm over this guy. Let me start cheering against him. Same thing with Jimmy Johnson when he started to dominate. As you mentioned, we've had other guys like Chase Elliott go on his little run with road courses prior to the next gen car coming in. So it's something that as it starts to get deeper into it, people will really start shifting their attitude towards it, wanting to see something different, though, and you can kind of, from what was being said and reported on, the feeling in the garage was it doesn't seem like that's going to be slowing down anytime soon. Yes, there are less road courses on the schedule, but as we go to Sonoma and then the a naval base in San Diego later on this summer, no reason to think that SVG once again isn't going to be the favorite and the guy that everybody's saying, all right, I guess we're fighting for second going into those races.
Yeah, I mean, the factor is going to have to change, and he did this despite the fact that on speed overall, his organization, and we've talked about that in previous shows, Trackhouse Racing is just not what it was when the Gen 7 car debuted and when Ross Chastain was winning pretty often. So they had been down on speed too. So to have him overcome that using his right and left foot and both of those ham hocks on the wheel. I think that it's really just fun to watch. Again, you don't want to see the same thing over and over, but we're not talking about a driver even dominating an entire season. We're talking about in certain races, and it's kind of cool to see somebody versus the field. And I didn't mind at the beginning of the Max Verstappen dominance seeing it happen, and then in F1. In fact, last year when he was the underdog in the championship, I was hoping he'd come back and win his 5th title in a row. Just to be a contrarian, but it's cool to see streaks continue. And Ben Gisbergen was about to break the NASCAR road course winning streak there, or tie it, I think it was, in Circuit of the Americas, and Tyler Reddick did just back in the end of February. So we've seen other drivers come up, but they can't quite hold on to the brass ring if they take it one time.
Again, talking to Doug Terminal of the Performance Racing Network as we're looking back at what happened this past weekend at Watkins Glen in the NASCAR Cup Series. Within the top 10, though, a significant story when it comes to Richard Childress Racing, as both Kyle Busch as well as Austin Dillon get top 10s. Kyle Busch, second top 10 of the season, first one coming at Talladega a couple weeks ago, and Austin Dillon getting his first of the entire season. It did have to come from some strategy, but nonetheless, that's an organization, of course, that has a rich history with guys like Dale Earnhardt and obviously Kevin Harvick as well, that has struggled so much this year. And I do wonder what just having 2 finishes like that, albeit through some strategy means, can do to spark them maybe as we go into the summer here soon.
You got to think, because they did it on raw. I mean, it was on strategy too, but it wasn't. There was raw speed involved, and those drivers were both relevant and held on to their positions. And Kyle Busch had a problem. I think he ran out of fuel on the last lap and lost some spots, actually, or lost a couple, which if it had happened in a different part of the lap or a different lap, I think it'd be another story of his frustration. But seems like the Andy Street addition to his pit box there, putting him up top of the pit box, is putting some energy back into the number 8 car for Kyle Busch at an opportune time as we hit the summer and silly season, and him being his last year of his contract there in year number 4 at Richard Childress Racing, and also his second contract there. I think that they needed that good news to happen now, and it would just be good to see them relevant again soon. Not I'm not expecting races won, stages won, but relevant again would be the ticket.
And both those guys still in the 20s in points as of right now, trying to get into that coveted top 16 to make the reimagined chase once we get to the last 10 races of the season. And I think, this past weekend was a perfect example of how the chase coming back has really kind of shifted how we look at a lot of things in the NASCAR Cup Series, because in years past, Shane Van Gisbergen would have been locked in to the then playoffs by having that win. That win did get him in the top 16, but he still has to continue to produce, have consistent runs if he wants to stay there and be a part of the mix to run for the championship coming up this fall. Likewise, on the other side of things, though, a guy like Joey Logano, who once again runs into trouble and has another finish of 30th or worse, has now dropped down another spot to where he's on the outside looking in, currently 18th in the standings, because having back-to-back bad results or multiple results in a row that are bad are going to affect you. So we see the week-to-week storylines playing out when it comes to this chase with guys like that in positive and negative ways.
Well, we certainly do, and I think I underestimated how much we would be grappling at position after position, with this format. Even though I've seen this format before, I guess when you see this format as being an every year thing, you don't look at it as closely for its positives, and you're really more focused on what the end result was of the season, right? Or over focused on the negatives, I guess. And what we're seeing though is that a bad finish like Joey Logano's matters way more what we saw Sunday at Watkins Glen or what we've seen in previous weeks as well. It matters way more in those than it would have if all he had to do is win one race to get in the playoffs, especially if he'd already won that race. Then suddenly the bad finishes matter so much less. And now if you're seeding, once you feel like you're established in the top 16, it's also your seeding and what your points position is back from the lead. Because if you're too much down in the standings and have too many drivers to leap over, that's difficult if you enter the points, 8th, 9th, 10th when we get to come to the 10-race playoff. The other thing, too, though, I will say about number of points to be made up. Remember, Tyler Reddick only took 8, 9, or 10 races to build a 100-point lead.
Right.
So making up 100 points if you win a lot of races in the last 10 races is possible, but you have to climb over a number of drivers.
So this weekend, no points on the line as it'll be the NASCAR All-Star Race for the first time ever at Dover Motor Speedway. And, you know, Doug, the relationship with NASCAR fans in the All-Star Race has been an interesting one over the years. I was enjoying what they were doing at North Wilkesboro. I'm excited to see North Wilkesboro get a points race, but going to Dover this weekend with a very interesting format. They basically eliminate the open. Everybody's going to be out there on the track at the same time, vying for spots in the 200-lap final, as you'll have two 75-lap sprint stages to open things up. It kind of harkens back to some of the more complicated formats we had back when the All-Star Race was, you know, at Charlotte in some of its later years. I haven't seen a lot of people in love with this. We'll see how it plays out, but I feel like it was maybe a little bit of a step back from what we've been doing the past couple years.
I'm just going to go there, okay? I'm watching my dog right now eat my cat's throw up, which nobody would want to touch. But you know what? Everything works for somebody. Okay, maybe there's a metaphor here. No, look, I don't think it's the worst. Probably you guys are going to hang up on me now. No, I don't think it's the worst format or anything like that. It's just that every year it changes, and the track changes so often. It's almost like, gosh, wouldn't it be great for it to be simple? But this is an innovative way, and the Dover track president talked on the NASCAR Hall of Talk podcast this week. He's made some other appearances too, that when the All-Star Race came their way, they were adamant that they wanted every team involved in the main show somehow. And by dividing the main show up into basically everybody and then the elite at the very end that are locked in, plus the person in the fan boat and plus anybody else that finishes in the top 25, then you've got something. It's just hard to keep up with. And the way the format will work is all 36 cars and drivers are in segment 1 and 2 of the race. The top 25 finishers in segment 1 are inverted for segment 2. And then they use a formula. Basically, it's sort of like golf, like your lowest score between the two races based on where you finish is how you will start the lineup for segment number 3. However, so that's complicated enough, but there are 19 drivers that are already locked in to segment 3 based on having won in the past year or having won the All-Star Race or having won a Cup title. So you really only have a few drivers grasping for those final spots, and it's basically needing to finish in the top 25 and out of that quotient from segments 1 and 2, and then also there's the person that wins the fan vote throw on top of that. I know Bill is furiously making notes over there, okay? So it's hard to explain, but I think it's a way to make everybody race hard the whole time, make everybody feel included, but at the end, give an advantage to those that have the star power.
Yeah, I'll wait to see it in action to reserve my final judgment. Bring your calculators because there's going to be math involved for sure, and we'll see. But again, the All-Star Race, an ongoing conversation of where it's at and what to do with it that could be in a different place coming up in 2027 as well. No picks this week because it's not a points race. Again, we're doing 36 drivers for 36 weeks, so we'll get back on that with the Coke 600 next week. Also talk some Indy 500 as well. But I will tell you, Doug, you are leading the way right now, 33 points over Bill's 28 and my 26. You got the second most points this past weekend for your Connor Zilic finish, and Bill did win with SVG.
God, imagine if Zilic had imagine, I guess it didn't matter, but imagine if Zilic hadn't blown a tire and had to pit there late in that race. But now it's good. And the other NASCAR fantasy league I'm in, I'm literally like last or second to last. And I don't put a lot of thought into it, so I guess that's why. But, yeah, I'm glad that we're getting to have some fun here.
Doing well so far. We look forward to talking to you next week. Appreciate it as always, man.
Hey, always great to be on with you, man. See you, Tyler.
Doug Turnbull, Performance Racing Network. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the hour. It's the halftime show here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Preston here from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gym that everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, but we're here to help you and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The Colorado Avalanche pulled off an absolute stunner at Ball Arena last night, erasing a 3-goal deficit to defeat the Minnesota Wild 4-3 in overtime. After falling behind 3-0 in the first, Nathan McKinnon forced overtime with a late regulation goal, and Brett Kulak sealed the deal with a winner to send Colorado to the Western Conference Final. It was a historic comeback for the Avs and a heartbreaking elimination for the Wild. I'm Addie Bates.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Summer means longer days and more deals at Lowe's. This Memorial Day, shop Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for $10. Plus, get select 1.5-gallon red, white, and blue annuals hanging baskets, 2 for $15 to show off your favorite plants. Stop traffic with stunning landscaping and save while you do it. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/27, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Halftime Show. Tyler Head, Captain Dave, along with you here on your Thursday on the Game. Again, appreciate it as always my buddy Doug Drumbull joining us to talk some NASCAR each and every week. Again, we'll see what the All-Star race looks like this weekend, but I'm so excited for next weekend. In fact, I've got the practice on right now on Fox Sports out at Indianapolis. I'm going to my first Indy 500 next weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Looking forward to that. And a lot of good ramp up and practices and all that kind of stuff. Qualifying this weekend, which is always fun to get excited for that, as well as the Coke 600 right up the road in Charlotte. So we'll talk about that with Doug coming up next week. Dave, I want you to help me answer a question here. Saw yesterday the Banana Ball Championship is going to come to Disney Plus coming up in October. Banana Ball the Savannah Bananas have their own kind of league now with the Party Animals, the Firefighters, whatever those other teams' names are, that they're having some form of a championship coming up this fall. Of course, they were, just to Texas A&M the other week They were, I think, at Truist Park in Atlanta this past weekend. We've seen them in the upstate at Clemson. We've seen them all over the place, right? And when they do, they sell out, hundreds of thousands of people. The ratings are good on TV. And for the life of me, Dave, I can't understand, why do people hate the Savannah Bananas so much? Can you answer that question for me?
Well, do people in Savannah hate them? Or
No, it's global, right? I mean, you see, and I get it, Twitter's not a complete reflection on how society views things, but you can't look at a Savannah Banana related tweet from ESPN or anybody without just saying hate, 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 hate. I've never understood that, right? Like, look, it's not your cup of tea, that's fine, but like, I don't know why people go out of their way so much to talk about how much they hate it, right? It's like they have to make it known that they're against it, when I'm like, I just feel like it's not worth your time, right? If you hate it that much, why give it the energy?
Well, I can understand. It's like hating Clemson. I mean, you give it energy. You don't really want to,
Yeah, but like there's a rivalry aspect to that, right? Like your reason for hating Clemson is they're your adversary. Like you went to South Carolina. You grew up loving South Carolina. Clemson is the antithesis of that, if I can say that word correctly. And that's where the hatred comes from. But like, I don't like the Bananas didn't do anything to anybody, right? They're just out there having fun, entertaining kids and, dancing and all that kind of stuff through the medium of baseball. And I think it's cool. Like, if you gave me tickets to a Savannah Bananas game, I'd go. Am I watching them every single night on ESPN or ESPN Plus or whatever? No. But I understand the aspect of what they're doing and why they're successful.
Sometimes it is the popularity. They seem to be everywhere. They're in that commercial where they do the backflip.
Yeah.
It's like you can't avoid them. They're like the Kardashians. They're just everywhere.
Are they? I was having this conversation with Terry the other week. I think the Savannah Bananas are the Nickelback of the sports world, right? Because this was a thing. Now, so the Savannah Bananas used to legitimately be a minor league baseball team. And you can read the story or watch a video on the story of Jesse Cole and what he did buying the team for basically, with all the money that he had. And now he's turned it into this like global brand that is going on, these tours and it's got to deal with ESPN and all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty neat story that I think a lot of people were in support of early on. But I guess now they've gotten too big, because that was the thing with Nickelback, right? Like when Nickelback was coming up as a band, everybody, hey, Nickelback, they're great. Got that rock sound that we, are missing these days or whatever it may be. And then they played How You Remind Me on the radio nonstop for like 3 total years when it was the #1 song. And then everybody suddenly hated Nickelback, right? So is that, in your music, guys, is that an apt comparison? Are the Savannah Bananas the Nickelback of the sports/entertainment world?
That could be. I think you're onto something there. Also, again, that yellow.
Maybe it's the yellow. And look, I am as anti-yellow as anybody. I've had so much bad luck in my life with clothes and things that are yellow that if you gave me a Savannah Banana shirt, I would likely not wear it because I don't like the color yellow for a lot of reasons. And maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe they're just so bright and loud and in your face that it turns people away. But I'm like, again, this is for like kids and families and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. If you're a traditional baseball person, it's not traditional baseball, but like, don't watch it, man. Don't watch it. I just have not understood the outright hate for something like that, again, doesn't really affect you, right? Now, I guess some people bring up the fact that ESPN takes away from coverage of other things to give to Savannah Bananas. Maybe there's something there with that, but I just think the hate is maybe a little too overdone. You know what I mean?
I can see why they're so annoying.
It's entertainment, though, right? Like, they're putting on a show. They're not asking to be legitimate sport. But I don't know. It's just something I've observed. I want to throw that out there, and I think I can say that with confidence they're the Nickelback of the sports world.
Yeah, the Tiger Woods. It's like Tiger Woods. You go anything on social media and everything. Guess what Tiger Woods is doing right now?
Well,
that's what his lawyer said.
That's a little different. I mean, he's putting himself in that position, obviously. I think the Savannah Bananas are in a different instance, but nonetheless hated by a lot of people for some reason. So I don't know. I want to throw that out there, just a thought that I wanted to get off the top of my head. We'll come back, get hit hour number 3. Demetri Ravenna is going to join me at 2:15 as well as halftime show rolls along on your Thursday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon
Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com. Songbird Festival is coming to Finley Park on Saturday and Sunday, May 30th and 31st, with 2 days of bluegrass, Americana, and Southern roots music in the heart of downtown Columbia. Catch Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, the infamous String Dusters, Future Birds, Blue Dogs, and the Bee Wrights, featuring Mark Bryan and Sony Sonnenfeld of Hootie and the Blowfish. Songbird 26 also features local and regional favorites across 2 stages, plus food, drinks, and a full weekend of music in Finley Park. Get your tickets now at SongbirdCola.com.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for AAA Heating and Air. You know, every homeowner's dream is a house that cleans itself, right? Well, we might not be able to do that, but what if you could clean your air without lifting a finger, even when you're sleeping? AAA Heating and Air offers indoor air quality products that do just that. These products work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens and pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. And remember, at AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Let AAA Heating and Air take your comfort to the next level. Call 803-677-1500 and schedule today.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Elijah Campbell here from 107.5 The Game, and spring cleaning is in full swing. And if you're hosting graduation parties or family get-togethers, Zero Res can help you get your home ready. Get carpets cleaned for just $35 per room and stairs for only $35, 50% off the standard price, plus take $50 off air duct cleaning, all by mentioning 107.5 The Game. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts longer. Appointments are filling fast. Visit ZeroResColumbia.com to book today.
Hey, y'all, Jay Phillips for our good friends at Integrated Media. I know it's summertime and you're thinking about baseball or the beach or the lake or the pool, but let's face it, it's always football season around here, and soon enough, real football season will be upon us. Now is the right time to call Integrated Media and get that home theater system of your dreams installed ahead of the big kickoff rush. 803-948-8327. One-room, whole house, indoors, outdoors. Nobody better when it comes to home theater than my good friends at Integrated Media.
For appliances with reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances, and Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
If you're tired of dealing with gas, noise, and costly maintenance, it's probably time to switch to steel battery power. Right now at Cato's Power Equipment, we have 65 steel battery tools like the GTA 40 hand pruner, the BGA 60 blower, and the KMA 135 combi power head, each available with 2 free batteries for a limited time, giving you more runtime, less hassle, and up to $640 in instant savings. This deal is only available at Cato's Power Equipment, Columbia's home for the tools you need to maintain your turf. Visit CatosPowerEquipment.com.
Home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. It is a halftime show. Tyler Head, Captain Dave, along with you here on your Thursday on The Game. We are still a very, very long way away from the college football season. Started over 100 days till, I think, if I'm just off the top of my head, I think we're like 114, 115 now till Carolina plays, which means 107 until week 0 and all that kind of stuff. So still got a long summer ahead of us of talking and all those kind of things to figure out what the season is going to look like. That being said, when we come away from spring practice and we have gotten little bits and pieces of information and an inkling of what we hope are good signs for this team, we can overreact to them, right? React, overreact, however you want to put it. Our guy Brad Crawford of CBS Sports put out an article the other day where he is overreacting to all teams in the SEC based on what we've learned or didn't learn coming away from spring practice. As, again, so many of these teams, or really all these teams, change drastically from one year to the next in terms of what you lose, what you bring in from the portal, and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, guys more experience in those kind of things. So what you are from one year to the next is not as much of a carryover as it used to be, which, again, that's where the hope and optimism that Carolina is going to really get things back on track in 2026 comes from, because so much has changed in this offseason. We'll get to some of these across the SEC in a minute, but I want to focus on South Carolina first, where Brad's overreaction is guaranteed improvements on the ground. He mentioned some of the additions for guys like Christian Clark, obviously Stan Drayton coming over as the new running backs coach, retooling the offensive line and all that kind of stuff to fix an area that Carolina struggled with not only last year, but has struggled with for the most part in the Beamer era, right? Like 2024 was the rare exception. Again, the offensive line wasn't great then, but you had a really good running back, Rocket Sanders, and an extremely talented runner and quarterback at Lenora Sellers that elevated that ground game to the best it's been in the Shane Beamer era. And look, nobody's asking Carolina to go out there and run for 275 yards a game and average 8 yards a carry, right? If you can just be average, I feel like that's what when we talk about the offense in general. Is considering what you were last year with Mike Shula, being average would be great, especially if your defense plays the way that it did the past couple of years. Being average on offense is going to give you a chance to win a lot of games, right? You were just so bad last year, even when the defense kept putting you in position in a lot of those games in the fourth quarter, as Beamer famously has harped on many times this offseason, you couldn't get it done. You couldn't run the ball, couldn't throw the ball, couldn't protect the quarterback. All things very important when it comes to your offense having success. So I really hope it starts with the ground game, as it always does in the SEC. If you can run the ball, you can throw the ball, hopefully. And that's an area that we really hope does make an improvement this upcoming season. Now, what specifically have we learned through the spring to tell us that? I don't know if there's a whole lot. Again, especially with no spring game and not being able to put your eyes on running backs, actually going through game-type situations, or the offensive line either. We're going off what coaches say, what players say, and all that kind of stuff. That being said, especially when you make a move like hiring a new running back coach and hiring a new offensive line coach, there's always the optimism of, okay, this is the guy that's going to get back on track, right? And you look at the running back room specifically, and there's a lot of excitement. One thing we can take away from the spring is that it seemed like the buzz around Matthew Fuller continued to grow and grow and grow, right? Now, again, he showed you flashes when he got his opportunities. That long run against LSU, the lone highlight of that game, really, for South Carolina. And other times when he got to touch the ball, you see that potential. Now, does that mean he's going to be an RB1 in the same way that Rocket Sanders was a couple years ago, where he's going to tote the rock 80% of the time? Maybe, maybe not. But can he get the bulk of the carries? Maybe. Or is it going to be by committee? We don't know. But the coaching staff, Wes and Chris, who have been covering and watching Matthew Fuller all the way back to his high school days, very excited about his upside and potentially getting more carries this upcoming season. As Brad mentioned in his piece, Christian Clark coming in from, Texas. Now, yeah, he only really got one game as a starter, but ran for 100 yards against a pretty good Michigan defense. Now, again, that's one game, so we can't anoint him as anything based on that, but it shows promise, right? When he got the opportunity to be the lead back after the other guys at Texas, I think it either just opted out or transferred or whatever they were going to do, he shined, right? So you look at that and saying, okay, I see the potential here. We're still pretty high on Jordan Howell, I feel like, who tore it up, down the road at SC State, and in bursts has shown you good things at Carolina. He's just not gotten a ton of carries to do so. Now, again, he did fumble in the ball game against Illinois and, didn't touch the ball after that. So he's got things to clean up, certainly. But, he was brought in as a guy that was going to develop and get better as time went along. And we'll see, especially if he runs better behind a better offensive line, what he can possibly do. And don't forget about Isaiah Augusta either. He was added to the team so late last year. I wish didn't see a ton of him. It's easy to forget he's there. But I think with what he had to work with on the offensive line last year, I don't think in the moments that we got to see him, it was a true indication of what he can be. Because, again, like anybody, if you play behind a good offensive line, you can shine a lot more. Because he was playing behind a bad one at Colorado, played behind a bad one here. So if he got some better blocking up front, maybe, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but maybe we see something pop with him if he's somebody that they think can be one of those kind of guys. And then you look elsewhere as well in what, rounds out the running back room with the additions out of the transfer portal and Sam Dixon and Jabri Coleman, who we just don't know enough about in college, that may be more of longer-term plays, development pieces, whatever you want to call it, just kind of depending on how deep they're going to rotate a running back and what those guys show, obviously, in spring practice, summer, and all that kind of stuff, camp leading up to the season. But I'll tell you, I'm excited about this room, right? Again, I'm not asking them to be the best in the SEC, but do I think they can take a step forward? I think so. Again, I'm just going off of what we know to this point, and I look at what Stan Drayton's done as a running backs coach, and it gives me reason to be excited. Now, again, it's a partnership. You can have the best running backs in the world, but if they don't have an offensive line blocking for them, they've got guys in their face the second they touch the football, you can only be so successful. So that unit up front definitely needs to be improved. And again, that's something that Beamer addressed through the coaching hire of Randy Clements, as well as the mass acquisition of talent from the portal, which is, of course, highlighted by Jakarius Peak, who we won't get to know the full potential of until the season gets here because he's dealing with his injury. Shai Thompson's going to miss this season as well. But a lot of other guys coming from various places, various types of offense that are in that consideration to be starters on the O-line. Now, I'm not going to go down the path of projecting depth charts or anything like that, but there's a sense of who some of those expected contributors are going to be, like a Carter Miller at center maybe. We believe Shed Surratt's going to play on this offensive line, given the fact that he was able to crack the starting lineup last year as a true freshman. And, we'll see what happens with the other positions and certainly how things shift once Jakarius Peak does come back and is fully healthy and ready to go. But like the running back room, you addressed it, right? You looked at what was a problem for you a year ago, really the past couple of years, and said, all right, we need to move on from the coach. We brought in a new one that has a really good track record and rapport with the new offensive coordinator. And let's go out there and get talent to fill up this room and give us the depth that we need. Again, we got to wait and see the results. And much like running back, I'm not asking you to win the Joe Moore Award. I'm not asking you to be the best offensive line in the country. But when you've been at the bottom of all of college football in sacks allowed these past couple of years, cut those numbers in half. If you cut those numbers in half, I'll be satisfied, right? Still room to improve, obviously. But it's a significant step in the right direction, and I think can lead to this ground game being better and obviously setting up the rest of the offense to be successful as well. So that was Brad Crawford's overreaction to South Carolina. Again, guaranteed improvements on the ground. Some other ones that kind of stand out to me is, again, he did this for all of the, all of the SEC. Let's go to the very top here, and a guy also entering a very pivotal season at Tuscaloosa, that being Kalen DeBoer, where Brad Crawford's overreaction was motivation is real in Tuscaloosa. He said few have picked Alabama to get back to the college ball playoff, and many opined whether his team would find success from a physicality standpoint. You also factor in the fact that they're breaking in a new quarterback in either Austin Mack or Keelan Russell after replacing Ty Simpson, who, whether you believed he should have gone that high or not, went in the first round of the NFL draft, right? So there is a lot of unknowns when it comes to Alabama, and maybe they like it that way, right? Like Alabama for the past 20 years with Saban at the helm has always been thought of as favorites, always been thought of national title contenders year in, year out. And maybe there was some doubt going into last year. Now, again, they did narrowly miss the playoffs in his first year, but obviously went back this past year. But you look at what they lost, and again, losing the quarterback position too, which is huge. This may be the most down people have been on Alabama in a very, very long time. And I do wonder how Alabama maybe plays with a chip on their shoulder, because we saw that a little bit this past year, right? When they went into week number 1 and just got flattened and mauled, quite frankly, by Florida State for the next week or next couple weeks, because they didn't play quality opponents, we just railed on them. These guys are cooked. They're not physical enough, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? At the end of September, they beat Georgia in Athens, right? So they quickly shifted the narrative back pretty quickly. And I do wonder how DeBoer and Alabama operate as a team that people don't expect as much out of. You know, can they play with that chip on their shoulder? Can they use that motivation as a tactic to really surprise people? Because again, Alabama's just not been that kind of school to do that in quite a while. Another one here that kind of stands out to me, lack of buzz, not necessarily a good thing. That is for Mississippi State as we enter year number 3 of Jeff Lebby. Now, they took a step forward last year, a slight step forward, but a step forward nonetheless. This is kind of the make or break season, though. And as he points out in his piece here, they have more than 50 newcomers as they completely reset the roster once again. It's hard to have sustained success when you're not getting continuity of guys staying year to year, especially in that massive numbers. Look, I think Lebby was put in a difficult situation of taking over the mess that Zach Arnett had left after his 1 year as a head coach, but especially in the SEC, you only get so much time, man. Now, yeah, Mississippi State's not accomplished the same things that Alabama's and Florida's and Georgia's and stuff have accomplished in their history, but an SEC fan base is only going to be so patient, right? And if you're not really kicking it into gear by year number 3, there's going to be people saying, okay, this experiment isn't working. Let's go out there and do something else. And again, not a lot of people talking about Mississippi State, but I don't know if they can, as Brad points out here, use that as like, hey, it's the chip on the shoulder. They don't believe in us. We're going to go out there and prove them wrong, because we don't know enough about the team. And again, last year they showed you some flash, showed you some promise. They beat Arizona State. That was a huge win, but a lot of the other games didn't go their way. And it'll be interesting to see if they can take that step forward with Lebby in year number 3 or not. Again, good write up there on CBSSports.com from Brad Crawford as his overreactions for the spring. You can check them out and see what he thinks about all 16 teams in the SEC, but wanted to highlight a couple of those real quick here. We'll keep the college football conversation rolling on the other side. Dimitri Raveno's going to join us as the halftime show rolls along here in the game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
If the Gamecocks hit a grand slam, you could win cash. It's the Crescent Construction Grand Slam giveaway. If the Gamecocks don't hit a grand slam, the pot goes up $25 a game. Just go to 1075thegame.com to register. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Songbird Festival is coming to Findlay Park on Saturday and Sunday, May 30th and 31st, with 2 days of bluegrass, Americana, and Southern roots music in the heart of downtown Columbia. Catch Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, the infamous String Dusters, Future Birds, Blue Dogs, and the Bee Rights, featuring Mark Bryan and Sony Sonnenfeld of Hootie and the Blowfish. Songbird 26 also features local and regional favorites across 2 stages, plus food, drinks, and a full weekend of music in Findlay Park. Get your tickets now at SongbirdCola.com.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because Rhino Shield is backed by a 25-year warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick. Put down that paintbrush and pick up your phone. Call Rhino Shield at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
For your 15% off, call now, 833-RHINO-99. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Halftime Show. Tyler Head, Captain Dave, along with you here on your Thursday on the Game. Keep the college football conversation going with somebody that is not afraid to share his opinions on the state of the sport, and that's our friend Dimitri Ravenos of SEC Unfiltered and Awful Announcing, joining us on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Long time no talk, my friend. How we doing?
It's been a minute, hasn't it? How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, doing well. Trying to figure out, as we approach the SEC spring meetings in a couple weeks, should we go paintball? Should we have a pillow fight? Dog food wrestling? How are we going to settle all the beefs we have between these coaches going into these meetings in a couple weeks?
I mean, I feel bad. Whatever we choose, I feel bad because it seems like it's going to be the whole conference versus Pete Golding, right? Like everybody seems to have put target on Ole Miss's back.
It seems that way. I haven't scrolled through Twitter much today. Has anybody else, offered their take on how poor of a state the Ole Miss University is, and basket weaving, or maybe the food there sucks? I don't know what the next dig you can take at them is, but everybody's taking their shots, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've had an extraordinarily busy day, so I also have not had a chance to check social media. But it does seem like any coach in the conference that wants to make a point, boy, do they all use Ole Miss as like the bottom of the barrel of at least we're not that. And I think this is kind of what happens when the whole system of the sport changes, and suddenly if you've got your financial game together, you can go from one of the worst situations in the conference to the last one standing very quickly.
Of course, and Pete Golding's a great recruiter. That was a team that was obviously on the cusp of making the national championship after he took over when Lane Kiffin departed for LSU. But all this started this week really with what Lane Kiffin said in reference to, Ole Miss and what he deemed to be the lack of ability to recruit certain players because of some of the, racially charged iconography there, if that's even a word, out there in Oxford, Mississippi, that maybe makes it harder to get somebody to campus there. And there's so many layers to that. Do you look at this as Lane Kiffin just trying to justify his leaving more, trying to get under the skin of the Ole Miss fan base, create a recruiting advantage, or just a combination of everything?
I mean, I have no doubt that at some point a player said to him, Coach, I really like you. I really like the system, but my parents just don't want me in Mississippi. I have no doubt that happened at some point. I have no doubt that happened multiple times. And yet, because it is Lane Kiffin saying it, there's no way I believe it, right? That's just kind of who Lane Kiffin has made himself out to be. I think Ole Miss, look, the problems with their Confederate iconography are longstanding. Multiple coaches in the past have pointed to this. Tommy Tuberville was the first one to just outright say, we've got to get the Confederate flag out of the stadium. I mean, Tommy Tuberville became the coach of Auburn in '98, so you're talking at least 30 years ago that Ole Miss has been dealing with this. My problem with Lane is if this really was limiting, well, then he would be the coach at Auburn right now. He wouldn't have given Ole Miss a chance to come back with a better money offer when he was flirting with Auburn after the, 2022 season? It's not that I don't think that Lane and Ole Miss had these problems. It's that I think these are things that Lane either figured out, okay, here's how we deal with it, or were not the problems that he is stating they were until he left. I think Lane's biggest problem is that he is a narcissist, and he is really having trouble understanding why people would have a problem with him leaving for a better job, not recognizing that Ole Miss and LSU have a very particular history, and the people that once sang his praises, the people that helped rehabilitate his image, now rightfully hate his guts.
So of course, when he was at Ole Miss, having the most success that school's, ever had in its history, he's still being Lane Kiffin, tweeting things and poking the bear in press conferences and stuff like that. And when you're winning, that's fine. But as he enters this era at LSU, if he's, let's just say, not making the playoff and only winning 8 or 9 games, how long of a leash does that fan base get of him before they start turning and saying, hey, man, this stuff was cute when you were winning, but now we're not being successful enough. Let's cut some of the crap and let's get it together?
Not long. I mean, look at what happened with Brian Kelly. We can say that Lane dresses up the bitching and moaning in a little bit of a more sly, cuter package, but they are doing the exact same act. I mean, Brian Kelly did all the same things in a much gruffer, more direct way, and he got 2.5 years before people got sick of it. LSU has now put a lot of money into Lane. They are putting a lot of money in the men's basketball side into Will Wade, and they put a lot of money a few years ago into the women's side in Kim Mulkey. Kim paid it off with a national championship. There is no excuse for Lane and for Will to not be able to back up their big talking with a championship. They are going to give both guys probably, a couple of years. They will make all the excuses that all college football fans make of having to get their people in, et cetera, et cetera. But Tigers fans are being asked to contribute more and more to turn this around quickly. They're not going to have all this patience, nor should they in this era of college football.
And talking to Demetri Venos here on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines, let's kind of shift things back over to Ole Miss because, as we talked about at the beginning, Lane Kiffin was the only one to take shots this week. You have Steve Sarkisian with the basket weaving comments, which were kind of on the heels of talking about the tampering situation with Luke Fernelli at Clemson that still has not been really anything done from an NCAA standpoint, even though a lot of the evidence is very much in your face. Do you buy that it's more about that or more about this report that when Pete Golding was attempting to recruit Arch Manning to Alabama, he maybe weaponized some of Sark's personal issues like alcoholism against him? Is it more of the former or the latter here, in your opinion?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think that Sark certainly probably holds a grudge, and I wouldn't blame him if he did, if Golding really was out there trying to use this thing that Sark has very publicly talked about doing all he can to, whatever you want to call it, recover from, keep in check. I'm not sure what the best clinical way to frame it is, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The other part of it, too, is there is this thing that coaches cannot let go of. Look, college football is now out in public what it has always been, which is a transactional business. There is nothing wrong with a kid jumping from team to team, from program to program each year. I mean, we may not like it, but there's nothing in the rules that says wrong. And so all of these coaches look for different ways of framing this as a moral thing. And Texas is a good school. Ole Miss, legendarily, is not a very good school. And so Sark is using every arrow in his quiver that he can to take shots at a team that has been more successful doing the thing that Texas said it was going to do, which is just outspend everybody, right?
Yeah.
Mississippi is the poorest state in the country, but boy, they have not had trouble rallying all those alums to throw into the kit to make Ole Miss football something it has, and forget make great again, something it has never been before.
You know, I think it's funny that, Sark made the comments about basket weaving, because if you go to any school, community college, major universities, there's always easy classes to be found, right? Like, it's not just a thing at Ole Miss. You can find, I took a jogging class when I was in community college, easiest class I ever took in my life, and didn't even have to jog in it. So you can find these kind of classes everywhere. So I understand why he made the dig, but I just think it's funny because there's no school that's exempt from those kind of things, I don't think.
No, the history of baseball, coaching soccer, coaching basketball, Jim Henson's America, the history of the American theme park, these are all actual classes I took at the University of Alabama.
Last about 2 minutes here. Again, kind of jump around to a bunch of different things. We keep going back and forth about this college football playoff. Everybody in support of 24 with the exception of Greg Sankey, who wants to stay at 16. And, of course, he, like Tony Petitti with the Big Ten, hold a lot of power. Does he ever crack on this, or is he just going to stay with his heels dug in on 16 no matter what?
I think he'll stay with his heels dug in at 16 until it becomes apparent that he is going to lose, and then he will frame it as he found some sort of compromise that works for the SEC. I mean, I think most fans agree with him that 24 is too big. I think 12 is actually the right number for this thing, but if we're going to expand, I can swallow 16. But yeah, no, I think Greg Sankey, as he has seen his members taking shots at one another, as he's seen with Greg Byrne, the Alabama athletic director, basically going to the media, defying everything that Greg Sankey said. He does not have a great handle on his own membership right now of getting them in line. So he's going to hold the line and not let himself look stupid. But this is probably a losing battle. He's just going to flex SEC muscle for as long as he can until he has to admit that it is what it is.
Dimitri, good stuff as always, man. Appreciate you taking the time, and we'll be checking with you, I'm sure, before the season ultimately gets here.
All right, Tyler, sounds good, man.
All right, Dimitri Ravanos there of SEC Unfiltered and awfulannouncing.com. You can read his stuff and follow him on Twitter there as well. And on the topic of the conversation, Dave, what's the easiest class you ever took in college? You remember?
I don't remember the name of it.
You don't?
But it was taught by one of the minor tennis coaches.
Okay.
When I was at USC, and it was full of athletes. I had some, friends in the dorm that were athletes, and they're like, "Hey, man, come take this course." And we'll see. One day we had a whole thing where we had to bring snacks, and they set up a metronome at the front of the class, and they go, "Chew with the metronome."
Seriously?
Yeah. And then one day we learned how to take naps.
Okay.
Made an A, and I was so happy. It was 3 hours. You get 3 hours. I'm like, wow, this is good. Go pull up my GPA.
Okay, there you go. That definitely sounds like an easy class.
They certainly existed in my day. I assume they still exist.
Firehouse Subs text line 803-404-6100. Easiest college class you ever took. We'll discuss some of those as the show goes along. Up next, though, the NFL's coming for another day of the week. Buckle up. We'll discuss that coming up next. Halftime show here in the game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Men's Clinic. You're not feeling like yourself as you get older? You're wondering why? Don't wait for it to change or go away. Instead, see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. You'll have a one-on-one consultation that gets to the root of the issues and gets you back to feeling like you used to. No such thing as a one-size-fits-all treatment at the Men's Clinic. Call them up for a free consultation, 803-875-MENS, and learn more online at themensclinicsc.com.
Email hijacking and ransomware are on the rise, and they're targeting your business. Once your data is out there, there's no fix, no reset. Do you know where your business is vulnerable right now? Find out with a cybersecurity audit from IntelliSystems. IntelliSystems is one of the few firms worldwide that's GTIA Cybersecurity Trustmark Assured, meaning the highest global standards. They find gaps before criminals do. Schedule your audit now. IntelliSystems.com.
Need a roof? Trust Crescent Construction. With over 20,000 roofs installed and counting, they've got the experience you need. They specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, and general contracting. Visit CrescentCarolina.com today for free estimates and free inspections. That's right, no cost, no commitment. Crescent Construction, quality you can count on. For all your roofing and construction needs, visit CrescentCarolina.com now.
The 2026 Gamecock football season will be here before you know it, which means it's never too early to secure your season tickets. From the roar of the crowd, to towels waving to Sandstorm, to the flashing lights after a Carolina touchdown, there's only one place to catch a game, and that's at Williams-Brice Stadium. The experiences you'll have here can't be matched by staying home, so make your plans today to join us in our home for the 2026 season. Visit thegamecockclub.com to check out the various ticket options available for this fall.
The Gant family with Pioneer Tree Service has been taking care of trees in Columbia and surrounding areas for over 48 years. Pioneer Tree Service provides tree and shrub removal, pruning and thinning, tree planting, cabling and bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding and removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, right-of-way maintenance, and more. They also provide 24-hour emergency tree removal. They can also handle the removal of diseased and dead trees before an emergency happens. Call them today for a free estimate, 803-794-8253. The Gant family and their team at Pioneer Tree Service can be trusted to provide professional and quality tree services with affordable pricing for residential or commercial jobs. Ashton Smith called Pioneer Tree Service and said they came when she was leaving for work, and when she got home, the tree was gone as if it was never there. She was so impressed with Pioneer Tree Service, she will definitely use them again. Here's one of the Gant girls, Madison Gant.
Call us today for a free estimate at 803-794-8253 or check us out online at pioneertreesc.com.
Are you ready for a new Gamecock tee? At Gamecock Traditions, they've got the latest styles and deals that will make you do a double take. Right now, grab 2 tees for just $25. That's right, 2 for $25. Most places charge that for just 1. Want name brands? Champion tees are just 2 for $38. And you can mix or match men's, women's, or kids' styles. Small sizes all the way to triple extra large. Fresh designs, incredible prices. Always the Gamecock Traditions way. Lexington, Sand Hills Village, or online at GamecockTraditions.com. Don't wait, these deals won't last.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
We've been blessed to serve the Midlands glass needs for 20 years.
We have been fortunate enough to help thousands of customers with the best glass service in town, in our store, and all over the Midlands.
Sure, we can fix your windshield, usually at no cost to you.
But at Absolute Glass, we can also care for all your other glass needs, too.
Home windows, shower doors, tabletops, shelving, storefronts, and all your commercial needs.
Contact us at 803-951-7200 or at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
For digital marketing that works, you need local expertise and national scale. Cumulus Digital provides hometown teams fueled by national support, serving over 4,000 businesses a month. Go to cumulusdigital.com. A short form is all it takes to get started.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and Streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right. Welcome back in. It is the halftime show. It's our head Captain Dave along with you here on your Thursday on the game. Getting close to wrapping up the show. Jay and Terry will take you today from 3 until 6 with the post-game show. And again, don't forget Gamecock Baseball tonight, 7 o'clock, 6:45 pregame right here on the game, if you care. Which if you don't, I get it. No one's asking you to care. Maybe you checked out a couple weeks ago. I don't think anybody would certainly blame you for that. Also tonight, hey, if you're looking for other means and things to watch, you can watch the Braves, by the way, as they've now taken the series against the Cubs, trying to round things out with a sweep coming up tonight. Hope they can do that. They've already exceeded my expectation for this 6-game set between the Dodgers and the Cubs, where I was hoping for at least 3-3. Well, guess what? They've won both series, so that's at least 4 wins. Maybe they can get 5 coming up later on tonight. But also tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN, I believe, the NFL schedule reveal. That's right. The NFL, about a month after the draft, has their next bit of that drug to give to us to get us that much closer to the regular season. The NFL, and they're a machine for a reason. They print money the way they do for a reason, because they know how to strategically place things throughout the offseason, right? You have your regular season. You got your postseason, Super Bowl in early to almost mid-February now. After that, you got free agency, then the combine, then the draft. And after the draft, of course, you have the schedule reveal. You'll get training camp coming up here in the next couple of months. And really, the NFL is never away from the headlines, because here's the thing, they're never going to watch, right? I guarantee you the schedule reveal, which here's the thing. All NFL teams know who their opponents are, right? It's not a shock and surprise. Oh, man, the Ravens are going to play the Cowboys or whatever. Like, everybody knows who their opponents are. They just don't know the week. Don't know the day, don't know the time, and that kind of stuff. And you'll get all that announced coming up later on tonight. And I'm sure they'll pull millions and millions of viewers in for it, because we're just football sickos and we'll watch anything related to it. Now, as happens every single year, the NFL leaks out or leaks start coming out about what certain games are going to be. Now, we don't always get full schedules. Sometimes they end up dropping, an hour before the announcement or whatever it may be. But you start to get bits and pieces of what the schedule is going to look like, and that's what's been happening over the course of the last several days. In fact, I think we've got all of week 1 already announced so far, where, you're going to have like Sunday Night Football. No surprise here, the Cowboys and Giants, that first Sunday Night Football game. Broncos and Chiefs on Monday night in week number 1. I believe that's the NFL telling us they're expecting both Patrick Mahomes as well as Bo Nix to be healthy and ready to go, right? With both those quarterbacks suffering their respective injuries that ended both their seasons. Obviously, Bo Nix is coming up short right before getting a chance to play in the AFC Championship game. I don't imagine they put that game on Monday night if they didn't think both those quarterbacks were going to be ready to go. But in the schedule that has released so far, and again, we'll get the full thing coming up tonight, and we'll react to that a little bit more in totality coming up tomorrow, I noticed something. The NFL has a new day they're fixated on. That's Wednesdays, right? Football used to be, NFL at least, used to be Sunday, then they branched to Monday, and then they branched to Thursday. Now, Thursday's always been there from like Thanksgiving, but it used to be kind of more of a special thing. Thanksgiving, and then I think when I was a kid, they used to do Thursday Night Football every week after that, up to the end of the regular season, and now it's become an every week thing, where you have your usual big kickoff game, usually featuring the Super Bowl champion, on that Thursday. And then every single week after that, now it's on Amazon Prime, you got Thursday Night Football that starts off the weekend. And as we all know, that's kind of not always the best version of football, usually pretty bad those games are. Though you have some exceptions like the Rams and the Seahawks last year, which were really, really fun. But a lot of times it's, two teams that are very beat up. They just got done playing a game 4 days earlier that are trying to slog through a Thursday night game to get themselves a win. So it's not the best football, and I always find it funny the NFL talks so much about player safety, yet they're making teams play on about 100 hours rest at least once during the regular season. But I noticed something with these games that have leaked out so far, and that's the NFL fixating itself on Wednesday nights now, a new day of the week that the NFL can get in on, and that starts off with the opening contest of the entire season, a rematch of the Super Bowl with the Patriots and Seahawks on Wednesday, September 9th. This will serve as the kickoff game that will be broadcast on NBC. The Thursday game that week is in Melbourne with the Rams and the 49ers, two divisional rivals within the same state, having to travel across multiple time zones to play in Australia for week number 1. That in of itself is its own conversation. Maybe we'll get into that coming up tomorrow. But that's not the only time that the NFL is going to be playing a game on Wednesday night, because when you fast forward all the way to Thanksgiving week, of course, we have a full slate of Thanksgiving Day games as always, but now we're venturing into Thanksgiving Eve as well, with the Packers and Rams on Wednesday, November 25th, the day before Thanksgiving at 8 o'clock, will be broadcast on Netflix. I think the NFL showed themselves a couple years ago, or over the past couple years, as they've really dove into playing games on Christmas, they can really make this flexible to any day of the week, right? Now, Wednesday's kind of the limit, right? I don't think you're ever going to start playing games on Tuesday, but they now see an opportunity to have another day of the week. It won't be every single week. Like, I don't think Wednesday Night Football is going to become a thing. I say that. If the NFL could do it, maybe they will. But they're just continuing to add more days to their calendar, showing they can play on quite literally any day of the week. They're already moving into Fridays, too. We got another Black Friday game this year with the Broncos and Steelers at 3 o'clock. And then with the way the calendar falls, Christmas this year will be on a Friday. So you're going to have a slate of games there. Bears and Packers, Rams and Seahawks, and then somebody in Denver taking on the Broncos. Let's see. Report saying it could be against the Bills. We'll see. Again, just looking at the article that I have pulled up here. Maybe they have already announced that. We'll see. But the NFL is proving they can and will play on any day of the week. And like Wednesday seems to be the latest example of this. Now, again, we love football. If football's on, most of us are going to watch it. But I'm interested to see if the NFL is maybe stretching themselves a little bit too thin. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're still going to have a lot of people watch these games. But especially for Netflix on a streaming service, is the night before Thanksgiving going to bring in the massive number that they think it's going to? I don't know. Right? Again, we're a football-starved society. We love taking in as much football action as we possibly can, but I don't know if this is going to yield exactly the results the NFL thinks it is. Maybe it will. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I look at this, I'm like, you're asking people to tune into football on a day they're not used to it, where they're not thinking about it, right? Now, again, we're in sports media here, so we're locked in on these games because we talk about them pretty much each and every day. But the average person, I don't know if they're thinking the day before Thanksgiving as they're getting ready for the holiday the next day and all that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah, let me turn on Netflix tonight to make sure I watch the NFL game. And especially with streaming, they don't always give out the numbers for these things. I'm interested to see how this goes, because if the NFL does find success on Wednesday nights, well, guess what? We're going to see a lot more Wednesday games going forward, I think. And maybe Wednesday Night Football does become a thing, because the NFL is a rare exception, right? Like Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, all these major sports are trying to find new ways to bring audiences in. Where the NFL, the ratings just keep going up and up and up and up. And we saw another record with the Super Bowl this past year. They're kind of playing with house money. And again, I don't see anything. The NFL almost kind of seems, I guess, I don't know if recession is the right word, but like lull-proof, right? Where every sport has their ups and downs and lulls and all that kind of stuff. The NFL doesn't seem to do that. Not in today's day and age, because we love football so much. We'll take in as much as we can, though, again, I'm interested to see how Wednesdays end up going and if people really latch on to that the way I think the NFL is hoping that they do. Now, again, the first game that Wednesday night, because there'll be so much hype around it, we'll probably get a lot of viewers, NBC, broadcast television, all that kind of stuff. It's these other ones as we go later on in the year that might be a little bit of a different story. We'll see how it unfolds, but again, the NFL is always trying to find that next avenue, next money-making venture, and Wednesday Night Football might end up being just that. So we'll obviously see. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the day and the hour. Coming up next, it's the Halftime Show. Tyler Head and Captain Dave on your Thursday here on The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Hey, this is Jen from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, a bakery, a coffee shop, burger joint, or a pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? We got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Presented by Chumba Casino, your online casino for plays, spins, and a chance to score. Must be 21 and over. Terms at ChumbaCasino.com. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Detroit Pistons last night. James Harden had a great game for the Cavs. 30 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. The Cavs look to advance to the conference finals to face off against the Knicks on Friday night. I'm Chris Black.
Yo, it's Jay Uso from WWE, and I'm Jimmy Uso. Chumba Casino and WWE are hyped for the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam. I know, I can't wait. There's nothing better to do while we're waiting than playing Chumba Casino. Sign up today, and you could win a VIP experience with Chumba Casino and WWE for SummerSlam. So what are you waiting for? Play Chumba Casino and enter for your chance to win. Let's Chumba. Yeah.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Halftime Show. Tyler and Captain Dave wrapping things up here on your Thursday on The Game. And things off to Jay and Terry for the postgame show coming up here in just a couple minutes. We talked earlier in the hour with Dimitri Venos about, the basket weaving comment that Steve Sarkisian made towards the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, in reference to, hey, Texas academics mean something here. At Ole Miss, you can go take basket weaving and get a degree, is basically what he was saying. Taking a shot across the bow at Ole Miss, mainly or in a lot of ways because of the tampering situation that happened with Luke Ferrelli, where, of course, they quite literally poached him from a Clemson classroom to now being at Ole Miss with a lot of money as is legal to do, but the way they went about it, maybe not. The NCAA, of course, has not done anything about it, which I think has drawn the ire of Steve Sarkisian as well as many other coaches around college football. And the reports are out there that Pete Golding, when he was at Alabama and attempting to recruit Arch Manning there, did weaponize potentially Steve Sarkisian's past history with alcohol against him in trying to sway Arch Manning to come to Alabama instead of Texas. So, again, how those two guys handle that at SEC meetings coming up here in a couple weeks will be interesting to see. Imagine they're not going to be going out to dinner together too much or sending each other Christmas cards this year by any means. But regardless, it got us on a conversation about what the easiest college classes to take are. I mentioned when I was in community college back in Georgia, I had to take, because you have to have your PE credit, and I took a jogging class, and you didn't have to jog necessarily. You just had to obviously learn about the benefits and effects that it had on your health and all that kind of stuff. And they asked you hey, just at least walk a certain amount of minutes a day or something along those lines, and you can pass. Very easy class. Again, satisfied the health PE requirement or whatever it may be. I decided to look it up. What are the easiest college classes out there? And this is a list from bookscouter.com. Their number one is Introduction to Film Studies. It says if you're a movie buff, this class would be a breeze. I took a film class also in community college. That thing wasn't easy. I will say this. Yes, it was enjoyable watching movies and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, you have to analyze the underlying meaning of things and character development and all that kind of stuff. It is work. It's not just you're sitting back and watching movies, eating popcorn, and there's nothing to it. You do actually have to put some work in to pass the class. I mean, did I enjoy it? Yeah. I wouldn't have said it was an easy class, though. Dave, did you ever take a film study or anything like that back in the day?
Yeah, I did. You want to hear that story?
Sure. Do you have a story for it?
Yeah. So we had to watch all these films. A lot of them were foreign films.
Yeah. We did too.
And the French cinema is really weird. Okay. There was one whole movie. It lasted forever, it seemed, and it was two people walking down this dirt road.
Okay.
On both sides of the road were wrecked cars with bodies hanging out of them.
Sure.
And they discussed Marxism.
Okay.
That's all I remember about that movie.
Isn't that a book?
Probably, but it was a movie, yes.
Okay.
We definitely had to sit through that. And then a woman with a Marxist flag is in a different movie, waving it from her balcony. Those are the only two scenes I remember.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I enjoyed the film class that I took. I wouldn't have said it was, easy by any means. Somebody in the text line said creative writing, by the way. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I took creative writing class. That was one of the hardest classes I've ever taken in my college career. Now, I also had a professor that was very much a stickler for every minute detail of everything that you wrote. It made me a better writer, but it wasn't easy by any means.
Oh, yeah. I took French. I took 2 years of French. And I started with the junior year of French.
Okay.
Because I'd had so much in in high school. So I was pretty good at it.
See, I was terrible at foreign languages. I had to take, the requirements of Spanish when I was in college, and I told the professors on day one, because I struggled with Spanish in high school. I'm like, look, I'm going to give it my best shot. It's probably not going to be good, but it's not for me lack of trying. I'm just not good at this. And I do think some of them did take some pity on me because some of my work, it was not good. I did enough to pass, but that was about it. So pro tip for any college students listening out there, people that are going to be college students, if you are honest with your professors, they might shed you a little bit of grace for a subject you're not good at.
Yeah, they might. Then again, they might not. Depends on who you get.
Maybe not. They might be like, well, that's tough. My class, we do this certain way, and you're going to either adapt or not. Thankfully, I did pass Spanish to where I could get my degree. So, yeah, pro tip out there to anybody if they want to give that a shot. But, I'm interested to see what the next shot across the bow, if anybody's going to take it at Ole Miss. And even John Summerall got in, quote tweeting about, classes and all that kind of stuff in reference to what Steve Sarkisian has said. But I doubt it's over, right? Because, again, I think what Pete Golding and Ole Miss did with the tampering and Luke Fornelli drew the ire of a lot of people. And I Again, they're all going to have to be in the same place in Destin come up here in a couple days, and I'll be to see how that goes down and if anything comes to blows. Like I said to Dimitri, we need to think here. Do we do American Gladiator jousting? Do we do mud wrestling? Do we do paintball? They got to have some kind of way to settle these differences besides just, traditional yelling and fighting or whatever. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but should be exciting to hear about nonetheless. That'll do it for the halftime show. Coming up next, it is the postgame show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford as your Thursday rolls along here on The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Elijah Campbell here from 107.5 The Game, and spring cleaning is in full swing. And if you're hosting graduation parties or family get-togethers, Zero Res can help you get your home ready. Get carpets cleaned for just $35 per room and stairs for only $35. 50% off the standard price, plus take $50 off air duct cleaning, all by mentioning 107.5 The Game. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts longer. Appointments are filling fast. Visit ZeroResColumbia.com to book today.
Worn tires make it harder to stop safely, and these Columbia roads don't help either. At Wetzel's Automotive, we carry a full range of top brand tires to keep you safe in every season. As your local auto shop, you'll always get personal service, expert installation, and free rotations with every purchase. We make sure your tires are mounted, balanced, and aligned the right way so you drive with confidence. We'll take care of everything you need in one stop without the runaround you get at big box stores. Visit us at 2017 Augusta Road in West Columbia or online at wetzelauto.com.
Don't you love being treated special when you shop and saving money? That just makes it even better. At Gamecock Traditions, they've got more ways to save on all your Gamecock gear. Sign up for their emails and get the news and deals first. Show your Gamecock Club card, your Alumni Association card, or your faculty ID and score a discount on Gamecock merchandise. Military, you save. Is it your birthday? You save. And don't forget their loyalty program. Earn cash back on every purchase, and it never expires. That's the Gamecock Traditions way. Lexington, Sand Hills Village, or online at GamecockTraditions.com.
If you are looking for a local, reliable, and family-owned HVAC service right here in the Midlands, you can trust our friends over at Krantz Cooling and Heating since 1983. They've been taking care of residents and businesses right here in the Midlands. Krantz Cooling, that's Krantz, cooling with a K, KrantzCooling.com, or 803-672-3224. You can schedule a visit online and get more information at KrantzCooling.com.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Men's Clinic. Too often guys will not go to the doctor when they're feeling off, whether it's because they think they can tough it out or because they don't want to talk about it. Don't be that guy. Get to feeling better after you see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. They are experts in healthcare for men, and they're dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. Call them up for a free consultation, 803-875-MENS, and learn more online at themensclinicsc.com.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-824-0593 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-824-0593. That's 800-824-0593. What do you have to lose? Call 800-824-0593. Again, 800-824-0593.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The postgame show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.